The way tire buying should be.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor, you're an owner. So whether you're planning for retirement or trying to save up for your next big adventure, Vanguard will help work alongside you to set personalized investment goals. That's the value of ownership. All investing is subject to risk. Vanguard is owned by its funds, which are owned by Vanguard's fund shareholder clients. Vanguard Marketing Corporation, distributor.
Are you ready to ride? Well, we got it covered at Gossett Kia on the bike. Get 41 MPG Highway and 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $37.99 to assign it. 2024 Kia Sportage, $279 a month, $34.99 to assign it. Or how about a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite with 0% APR available for 48 months? Or get 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month, $49.99 to assigning. All 24-month lease. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He's ready to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE 794,066, MSRP 21,820. Sportage R73 16197, MSRP 28,865. EV9 R60 29,603, MSRP 61,035. Includes all rebates and incentives and PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 7/31/24. Dealer stock only.
My son Finn was born with congenital heart disease. He ended up spending about the first 8 months of his life in the hospital. During that time, he endured 10 surgeries, including an open heart surgery. Starlight Children's Foundation has played an important role in my family's life. For 5 weeks when he was a baby, Finn lived in a Starlight Hero wagon. You could not understand the pure joy of having him go from a hospital bed into his favorite red wagon. Starlight doesn't just give items that hospitalized kids can use to keep themselves happy, but also memories, moments, and experiences which are so needed in times like these. They allow sick kids to just be kids for a little while. The support that Starlight provides to families like mine is an integral part to creating happiness at a time when there's very little to be found. Learn more about how Starlight Children's Foundation brightens the lives of sick kids by visiting starlight.org today.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. It's time to get up and get your day started. Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker! It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and
Eli. Time to wake up, my friends, my early risers. Welcome in to Sports 56 Mornings on this Thursday, July 25th, 2024. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. They continue with that incredible summer sale, including sales and discounts on all types of pools and spas, plus everything you need for your pools and spas, the filter systems, the robotic cleaners, all ladders, plus select patio furniture, play gyms, everything on discount at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. And the first hour of the program is brought to you by all the great folks at the Big Green Egg. 73 degrees, it will only get to 85, but I say only. Temperature-wise, doesn't seem too bad for Memphis, but we have an excessive heat warning because humidity is at 95%. So it's going to feel a lot warmer, a lot hotter than 85. It will be overcast. Despite it being overcast, it'll still feel like a sauna. Rain showers at times, about a 44% chance of rain. Tonight, a low of 72, cloudy with occasional rain late, and that rain chance is about 65%, according to the forecast. Tomorrow, more rain in the forecast, 81 for a high, and 70% chance of precipitation. Coming up on the program today, Kerry Miller will join us to talk Major League Baseball at 8:25. We got the trade deadline coming up. What is going to happen What teams will be buyers? What teams will be sellers? We'll talk to Kerry about that. At 9:05, Frank Bonner will join us, rescheduled from yesterday, to talk some Tigers football now that the American Conference media days are over with and the Tigers picked to win the conference. Now, will there be pressure on Memphis as they get set to open up camp here very soon? We'll talk to Frank about that, about the American Conference in general, and about the new commissioner, Tim Pernetti, and what he had to say. We got plenty of NBA news, including the new media rights package, which is now signed, sealed, and delivered for the NBA, but much to the chagrin of the folks at TNT, where there could be some legal action. We'll go over that on the program. The Grizzlies make a move. We'll tell you about that in case you missed it yesterday. Plenty from the National Football League with camps now fully open, and the Olympic Games are underway. We'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. I forgot my watch. I feel naked. Do you wear a watch?
I do. Now. Never used to, but I do.
Since when?
Last 2 years.
Do you like it? You comfortable with the watch?
No, I don't really like it, but it's an Apple Watch, and I like being able to see who texts me so I know whether I need to respond to him or not.
Okay. See, I've always worn a watch. Now I wear the Apple Watch probably for the last 3 years, maybe 4 years. But I've had different watches, varying watches throughout my life. I forgot to put it on this morning. It was charging. I feel naked. I keep looking at my wrist. There's nothing there. Zach, do you wear the watch?
There's a wrist.
There's a wrist. He wears the watch. If you forget your watch, every once in a while you forget your watch. You feel naked?
It's actually the other way around. Sometimes I wear beads or rubber bands on this hand, so this hand actually feels naked.
Oh, because you don't have it on there?
Yeah, it's my
I
right
noticed
hand.
that. Okay.
So the watch is normal because I know to grab it, put it on after I put on my clothes and to walk out the house. But it's usually my right hand where it's like, oh man, I've got to put on some beads or something.
Yeah, I just have the watch on the one wrist, nothing on the other wrist, but it's just, I keep looking at it going, what the hell? Forgot that this morning. But anyway, that's my problem, which is not a major problem whatsoever. So the Grizzlies, very ironically, I guess, yesterday we had DeMichael Cole on. We were talking about a number of different topics, as we do each and every week with DeMichael, all concerning the Grizzlies or the NBA. And we were talking about Trey Jemison, who played every game, I believe, in the Summer League. Maybe had one game off. He did okay. But I said yesterday my specific word was enamored. I'm not enamored with the guy. And then later in the day, the Grizzlies announced that they had waived Trey Jemison and replaced him with a guy who I actually watched play the Grizzlies last week in Las Vegas, 7'1" center Jay Huff. He gets the two-way deal. Jemison released. Huff is a 25-year-old. He's played in 31 NBA games over 3 seasons. He's played a little bit with the Lakers, Washington, Denver, and again, he was with Orlando's Summer League team. 2.4 points, 1.2 rebounds, 5.3 minutes per game. Played 4 years at Virginia, was part of the national championship team in 2019 that went undrafted. It's not a sexy move by any indication, by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a move to strengthen their very deep bench going into the two ways as far as the bigs are concerned. With a guy who's a little more versatile, can shoot some threes, moves pretty darn well. The problem with Jemison, he did not have good feet speed. His speed was not good laterally. And I think Huff moves a lot better, and I think they saw that as well.
He's been a really good G League player through his 3 years in the G League. Last year, he kind of added the three-point shot to his repertoire, but he's been a very good shot blocker, around 3 blocks per game, basically his entire G League career. Been a consistent scorer. It went up a little bit last year when he added the three-point shot kind of to his repertoire. Good rebounder. Just a good, solid guy to have on a two-way deal. More offensively skilled than Jemison. And again, he's a really good shot blocker with his length. So these two-way deals, it is what it is. You're taking shots, swings at guys, and he may or may not be on that two-way deal by the time the season starts. Somebody else could be on it by then. You never know. It just is what it is. You cycle through guys on these two-way deals and see if you can find somebody.
Exactly. It's not earth-shattering news, but the more and more I start to think about it, the more and more I believe that, well, certainly not at the start, but unless they get desperate and there's a key injury, they'll probably stay away from signing a big. And again, I say signing a big with the assumption that the guy they picked up in the trade with Brooklyn, what was the name again? Diakite is released. Now, Diakite's owed a 1 point whatever million it is on a deal, so it's not that much. They could release him. But then he has a guarantee sometime in January where he would certainly be released by then. So he could conceivably be kept on the roster as the 15th man. I don't see it. But just because, and if they do release him and they have that extra spot, doesn't mean that they will fill the spot at the beginning of the season. I'm sure they will wait and see. There's no rush, even no rush to put Scottie Pippen in there as a member of the 15-man roster. They can keep him as a two-way and then decide if that's what they want to do with that 15th spot. Again, with the assumption there will be that 15th spot open. They can keep it just in case an emergency with a big, in case Edey or Clark or anybody has issues physically. So there are options there. But again, Jay Huff in, Trey Jemison out. The other two-way guys are Cam Spencer, the rookie from Connecticut, and Scottie Pippen. All right, elsewhere in the NBA, big news yesterday. And again, this news was coming down the pike, but it became official yesterday as the NBA signed an 11-year media rights deal. Why 11 years? Why not 10? Nice round number.
I have no idea why they chose 11.
They got to have an opt-out year, you know?
Is that what it is? I mean, 11 years. Just it's kind of strange. Yeah, they signed a 13-and-a-half-year deal. All right, so an 11-year media rights deal. They continue with Disney, which is ABC, ESPN. NBC is back, baby. And Amazon Prime Video. $26 billion, that's with a B, over 10 years. Now, that means they said thanks but no thanks as the league turned down the Warner Brothers Discovery's $1.8 billion per year offer. And that includes TNT. Now, TNT will still have basketball games this upcoming season. So that's Charles and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie and the great folks on the pregame, halftime, postgame. Just an incredible group who I believe will be kept together somehow, some way, and will show up again on another network. But the problem is that according to Time Warner or the Warner Brothers Discovery's, the way they looked at the contract, that they had the right of first refusal, that they could have matched, and they did, and they were denied. So there is going to more than likely be legal action taken by that group, by that company.
Yeah, the NBA does not consider what they offered as a true match of the Amazon deal. They do believe it was a match, so yeah, it will go to court, which will be weird because TNT will be carrying games next year while likely there's a lawsuit going on against the NBA while you're carrying their games. So it could be a little weird, uncomfortable.
Will they have to put the muzzle on Charles Barkley? Because Chuck will say something, but because it's a lawsuit, it's legal. It's one of those deals where I can't speak about something because right now we're in, we got a suit going. Do they have to muzzle those guys because Chuck will be the first one to scream from the mountaintops?
I have no idea. I would assume they'll probably it's not something that they should be really talking about anyway.
I know.
I don't think I'm going to guess that Chuck doesn't understand the legal language of what is a true match and not a match.
It won't stop him from saying something.
But yeah, it's again the money is just it's it's just mind-boggling how much money is in these TV deals.
It's incomprehensible.
And it just
that amount of money
keeps going up and up and up. And I don't know when it stops. Like I would think that you think this, okay, this has got to be it. Like this is the highest they could possibly go. And then the next one comes 11 years from now when they do a new deal. Who knows what that one will be for? Like it just, I don't know. Like I don't know where the top of the line is for these companies, but I mean, just the amount of money that is thrown around for these deals is just really hard to, when you're like, yeah, you're 1.8 billion. We don't need that.
Right.
Per year. 1.8 billion per year. No, we're good.
That's chump change, my friend.
We got it covered. We're good to go. But it is you look at these deals, I mean, it is a lot of national television games, well, including streaming, for if you want to consider that national television, whatever. But there's going to be a lot of NBA on national TV throughout the week, whether it be obviously the actual TV or the streaming between Amazon and Peacock on the NBC side. There's going to be a lot of it.
Are numbers for viewers of conventional television down with now streaming options overall across the board? Where do things stand?
A lot of people have cut the cord, and gone more to that type of stuff. But obviously, when you're talking NBC, ABC, that doesn't. It's not as big a deal,
right? Right.
And that's why I think part of why the NBA wanted to get more onto broadcast television with the NBC deal. Mm-hmm. But I think everybody. I think all of these realize that the NFL did it, and now the NBA is doing. Understand that streaming is a big part of the world now, and to get on there with these deals, and with Amazon, and you got obviously you get NBC with Peacock, and ESPN has their ESPN Plus, all that stuff. That streaming needs to be a big part of this to reach a lot of people. When you hear overnight ratings, the ratings are in for the WNBA All-Star Game, it's up 300%, or this event or that event. And there are options to watch that event live streaming. Do those numbers get thrown into the mix when you hear the overall ratings that are released? Or is that separate? I don't know I have no idea what they announce or how they're doing that. I do not know. Because I would have to think that the numbers, again, of conventional television are down a little bit, but perhaps picked up and equaled or maybe even surpassed by the numbers that are brought in by watching live streaming. It's like an ESPN Plus game, watching things on your computer. Do they consider that when they talk about overall ratings? I'm very curious about that. But with the return of the NBA on NBC, that means, strike up the band, Zach, the return of this. You're looking live at FedEx Forum in downtown Memphis, Tennessee, where tonight the Memphis Grizzlies host the Cleveland Cavaliers. It is John Tesh, the award-winning director of music and former broadcaster, and his Round Ball Rock, the great John Tesh Orchestra, coming to a game near you. It's back, baby. What do you think?
It's a lot of people for a live game.
What?
It's live. You said live orchestra coming near.
No. What do you think about the music piece, though? Have you liked it over the years? Not liked
iconic.
It?
I give it that.
It's iconic.
I am neutral on it. I don't.
There was
if they use it, which they are, I think, great. If
they're
not,
going to use it. Yeah.
If not, I'm not going to be heartbroken.
There was a
But good for John Tesh.
CBS
More
had
royalties for John Tesh. It's
more
all
royalties.
good.
CBS had an NBA. I think it was CBS back in the 70s. I think I played it for our listeners one day. An opening for the NBA on CBS, and it was really goofy. But I remember that as a youngster growing up. I don't know if you could find it, Zach. It's from probably 72, 3, 4, that era. I want to say it was on CBS, and it was words, not just music, whereas this is just music.
The one thing that I am curious about with this new deal, and again, it doesn't kick in this coming season. This coming season is still TNT, but it's the next season. The 25-26 season is the first season of this. Is how right now when a game is on TNT, the local broadcasts don't do that game. I don't know what the limits are in this new deal for local television, when they are preempted. I don't know if that's just the NBC games. I don't know exactly how that is going to end up working. Obviously, these local team deals are a little weird right now anyway because of the whole Bally's Sports situation where the bankruptcy, but they're still kind of existing somewhat, but they're not. Major League Baseball has now started. They announced yesterday that they're going to be sending luxury tax money to those teams who have been losing money on their local TV deals because of that. So,
really? I didn't see that.
I don't know what. Again, I don't how this is all going to work with the local stuff. I have no idea. But again, there's going to be with the streaming especially, because Peacock's going to have Monday night doubleheaders, all of the Amazon stuff. Like there's going to be a lot of national games available. I would assume again most of those are going to be still, especially the streaming ones, going to be broadcast locally anyway. But I don't know exactly how it's going to work with the local broadcasts.
Now, I don't know if I found the one that you're talking about, but I did find this one here.
Okay. I remember this. This is the NBA?
NBA on CBS.
Okay,
that sounds like it.
I thought it was
very similar. I feel like that's very similar to one they used for the NCAA tournament. Now,
That's what I'm thinking.
It might be the one. I don't know, but that's very close to it if it's not.
I
like that one. That one's way better than the other NBC one.
Hey, leave John Tesh alone. He never hurt anybody.
Believe me, I will leave John Tesh alone.
There is another one from CBS. Now that I think about the words, it's CBS, and it has words to the song. See if you can find that one. And it is so goofy, but I remember it vividly as a child. The bankruptcy thing always confuses me. That is so far over my head. I don't understand. Every time I hear a company's gone into Chapter 11, some bankruptcy thing, I think it's the end of the company, and then all of a sudden it's back. The company's like never goes away. So I don't know if this deal is the same situation here with local broadcasts of NBA teams, their games, and other sports as well. It used to be on Fox Sports Southeast, right? What's it on now? What is it, Bally's? What's it on?
Diamond Sports took over brought from Fox, and they bought the regional sports networks.
Okay, so and they're in bankruptcy. They're in Chapter 11.
They're in some sort of bankruptcy.
One of the chapters.
I don't know yet. But then Amazon ended up buying in something. I don't know. It is not anything I understand whatsoever.
No, it's confusing.
But I don't know. I mean, the Grizzlies, I don't know if they will. Again, I don't know if these teams are still doing deals with Diamond Sports or if they're looking to go elsewhere to get I have no idea where the Grizzlies stand as far as their local broadcasts are going forward either. So, I mean, I think they have to have a new deal for this coming season on the local side. I don't think that continues at all. So I think they have to either do it with them or somebody else or whatever. I don't know where things stand as far as the local broadcasts go.
Didn't some of the teams strike local deals, like with different entities? Wasn't that the Phoenix Suns did some? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, some have.
Yes.
And some are looking at going kind of doing it basically themselves.
Wow, really? Do the whole production themselves? Interesting.
I think some of these, obviously they could stream it. You can do other things. I don't know. But I have no idea where the Grizzlies stand on any of this. But obviously these teams are looking, anything they can bring in-house and make the money themselves, well, that's better for them.
Sure, if it's profitable, absolutely. Did you find this song?
I think I did. I'm gonna let y'all listen to
Okay.
Give it all you
That's
got.
it.
Take your very best shot and may the best team win. The time is now. The name of the game is action. They're on the floor and they're ready to score. So let the game begin. And let's see how the ball's gonna bounce today. Welcome to NBA. Come on and join the rest of the crowd. There's a night.
We've come a long way since this one.
Yes.
Wait, keep it going. Keep going. This part.
Say the best in basketball. When you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
There it is. How goofy is that? It reminds me of when the Super Bowl first started. And we've come a long way to now the Beyoncés and the Princes and the Springsteens and the Stones, all those that have played the halftime at the Super Bowl, when it used to be like Up With America or whatever those singers that would play at like amusement parks and stuff. That's what it sounds like. A bunch of those guys doing this theme back in the early 70s, I want to say, when I was young, watching the NBA on CBS.
Listening to this makes me feel like I'm about to watch a TV show.
It sounded like it felt like it would be like the intro to like Hang Time.
Right.
Like
Dick Butkus as a high school coach.
It's almost like the NBA went up to ABBA and said, "Hey guys, like we need an NBA theme song. What you got for us? You know?"
Yeah, that's that would be if they had I feel like that would be if the NBA had a deal with Nickelodeon.
Yes.
If the NBA was on Nickelodeon, that could be the intro song for the NBA on Nickelodeon.
I think Nickelodeon could do a whole lot better, to be honest with you. If I'm being honest.
Maybe on the Cartoon Network. Maybe if the NBA was on the Cartoon Network, use that one.
I think those dudes were called Up With People. I'm trying to remember what it was, but I think early on, like the first few Super Bowls, they had that type of entertainment. Sounded like the dudes doing that song for the NBA on CBS. Folks, All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, one of our great sponsors. They have what you're looking for. If you're looking for a new automobile, you're looking for pre-owned, all you need to do is head on down to Olive Branch and All-Star Chevrolet. They have hundreds of new and pre-owned Silverados. Some mark 12% off invoice. Add up the All-Star special discounts. Look for the Costco member deals, and you're going to save even more. One sweet buyer's market right now with financing as low as 1.9%. No payments for 90 days on a bunch of the new All-Star Chevys, including the Silverados and the new Tahoes. Get an extra $500 bonus if you're a healthcare worker, you're a teacher, college grad, military, first responder. No matter what pre-owned you're looking for, they have it there. Jeeps, 4Runners, Expeditions, Navigators, all the trucks. They're all in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, and you can test drive them all. Bring any vehicle you want to sell. Get a big check today. So don't miss out on All-Star Chevy's special summer sale. It's going on in Olive Branch. You can also check them out online at allstarautogroup.com. Just underway on a Thursday. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Cork and Barrel in Hernando, Mississippi, a southern gem for over 15 years. Check out their bigger, better, bolder new location, 2595 McInvale Road, Hernando. Huge selection, incredible pricing. Choose from hundreds of bourbons, tequilas, rum, scotch, and vodka. Over 1,000 wines from fine and very simple picnic wines. At Cork and Barrel, it's all about serving you. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 10, where the fun begins and the liquor and wine never end. Cork and Barrel, 2595 McInvale Road, I-55 Hernando exit 280.
Ken Garland, you are in your 72nd year of business. Your son William is now joining you. What do you think is the key to your longevity in the building business?
My dad started the business in 1965, and I think being on the job sites daily and being accessible to homeowners has been a key to our success.
You guys have a work ethic, as you like to say. You're not hiring people to be on the site. You guys are there every day.
We interact with the subcontractors multiple times a day on each job site. I think that has been a key, as well as using the same subcontractors 20 plus years in most cases.
When you talk about materials, what is the first thing you're thinking about when somebody comes to you to build a home?
We're just trying to meet the expectations of the client and the homeowner and the architect and give them what their dream is.
When you get a Ken Garland home, what do you guarantee?
We'll be there after the job is finished. We're still accessible to all our clients.
Now I need to know, how do I get a hold of Ken Garland?
You can reach us at kengarland.com.
It's the season for fun, sun, and savings at the Volkswagen Sandy Summer Sales Event. Going on now at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, and I've got Jason, the main man Marshall, on the phone to give you the lowdown.
Randy, I've got the 2024 Taos SE, $299 a month, 36 miles per gallon on the highway. 2024 Atlas Peak Editions, $5,000 off or just 0.9% APR for 60 months. And the new 2024 Tiguan's, $3,000 off or just 1.9% APR for 60 months. And the list of savings goes on and on at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike. And remember, no reasonable offer will be refused.
Summer fun has begun. Ask for Jason, the main man Marshall, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike, or online at GossettDWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
For retro cruiser styling packed with modern innovations, riders of all skill levels choose a Honda Rebel. Incredible motorcycles with a stripped-down style and a full package of features. Both the 300 and the 500 offer compact power inside a lightweight frame. Combined with a low slim seat, the Rebel is easy to start on. And with new colors for this year, they are impossible to ignore. Go to DeSoto Honda to check out the 2023 Honda Rebels. Cruisers with premium style and performance to enjoy every second. Use the street as a racetrack with a long with the
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Starting to crank up with more volume. 40 east here across the Hernando to Soto Bridge coming over from West Memphis. It's crowded now southbound on Austin Peay Highway, getting up on that ramp there to I-40. It's been busy out here, but it's moving on 240 east and westbound over here at Mill Branch. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis. They specialize in bridal ring purchases. They have since 1984. Shop local. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back. 7:31 the time, hour one, here on Sports 56 Mornings. Again, I looked at my wrist for my watch, and it's not there.
Just think, by the way, if you're Warner Brothers Discovery, like you're trying to spend $20 billion and you can't. Like, they're like, no, we can't. We don't want. So you just have $20 billion that you're like, okay, what do we do with $20 billion? They're going to actually spend more money in a lawsuit to try and make sure that they can spend their $20 billion.
I mean, it should be pretty simple, right? If you have the option to match, you either matched or you didn't match, right? I mean, why is it so gray? Why is it so complicated? If there's a number that you have to match, and
it's not about the number; it's about what's all involved in the coverage and everything else. I mean, and I'm sure the NBA wants to go to Amazon, so I'm sure they put a lot of very complicated stuff in the language to make it really hard for it to really be a true match. And that's what they'll have to decide in court.
Well, I wonder if they said, well, we can't do that or no to this. That's the difference. If they agreed to everything that's in there, then they matched. So it's going to be interesting. Now, as far as the team is concerned, it is going to be strange. One final year on TNT with Chuck and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie. Charles is the only one I think will probably say something because he said it last year. But do you believe, like I do, that I don't know if Ernie would leave. I mean, they still have a lot of things on TNT and Ernie's involved with everything. Do you believe there's a chance that team could go somewhere else?
I suppose there's a chance, yeah. Well, I don't know how likely it is or anything. I don't know on that, but there's a chance that something could happen, certainly.
I would bet dollars to donuts that Chuck is going to be somewhere where he's part of a broadcast team for the NBA. Not an analyst in the games, but as a host, a studio. I think for sure Charles will be a part of it. I just don't know where or when. Somebody's picking him up.
Well, he says he's going to retire, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
And he might not, but I mean, as of now, that's what he says he's going to be.
You can go ahead and strike ESPN off that list after the comments he talked about.
No, I don't think it'll be ESPN. I think Chuck will end up being somewhere prominent. I don't believe what he's saying about retirement. I mean, I don't know. Kenny Smith could be done. Ernie might stay because of everything else with TNT and TBS and all that.
The other thing too about this
I don't know about Shaq.
NBA TV. I don't know what's going to happen with NBA TV. That is a Warner Brothers Discovery.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Thing. So I don't know what, and I'm not even sure if there is that may have to be decided after the lawsuit plays out and they see if they could end up winning the lawsuit, I guess, and getting things, whatever. But I don't know what happens with NBA TV.
Could you imagine there's a lawsuit, then they win it? Well, I mean, there is a lawsuit, but can you imagine they win it and then there's another lawsuit from Amazon Prime Video? So many different sports contracts, deals end up in court, or at least start in court. Maybe they never go to some trial. They get settled.
I don't know what Amazon, they really wouldn't have anything to sue about. I mean, if it is decided that TNT did match their offer, then there's nothing for Amazon to claim differently.
Well, again, but they're saying that they didn't match. That's what
that's not Amazon Prime. That's the NBA anyway. The NBA is saying they didn't match.
Right. But if they're saying they didn't match, and then you're assuming now you're part of it, you're going to be a part of the future of the NBA broadcasts, and then all of a sudden that's taken away from you because the idiots in the legal department of the NBA don't understand what a match is, then that's an issue. And again, people have sued for less. All right, so I want you to become a handicapper for a moment. I want you to handicap what the percentage, what the chance is out of 100% that all three of these things happen this upcoming 2024/2025 sports season. The Memphis football team makes it into the American Conference Championship game. Just makes it into it. The Memphis Tigers men's basketball team wins their conference, qualifies for the NCAA tournament. That's wins their conference tournament championship and gets the AQ. And the Memphis Grizzlies return to the playoffs. What's the percentage of that? I'm not saying Memphis Tigers football going to the playoff, not even saying winning the conference championship game, just getting into the conference championship game. Basketball getting to the NCAA tournament by virtue of winning the AQ for the conference tournament championship, and the Grizzlies back in the playoffs.
Well, I think all three things independently are very likely to happen.
I'm going to ask you about that in a second.
So I would say, obviously we're talking about three independent events all happening.
Right.
There's a lot to, but
which should lower the percentage. But
I would say 60%.
60% chance. Zach, what do you think? I thought that's what the number was you were going to come up with there. I thought it was going to be right around 60%.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's more than an average chance. That puts it above average. But you can't go, even though it seems like it's likely, you can't go crazy because it's three entities that all have to come through.
Right.
Now, break them down individually. Memphis football getting to the conference championship game. What's your percentage?
I would say about 75.
75%. We know it's a daunting conference road schedule as far as within this conference, the way it's made up. They're playing what is perceived to be the toughest teams outside of them on the road. UTSA, Tulane, South Florida. The Memphis basketball team winning the American Conference Tournament Championship, getting the AQ.
I would say 85%.
85%, even with the disaster that was last season. And then the Grizzlies returning to the playoffs.
I would say probably 75%.
What was your first one again with football?
75.
That was 75 as well. Okay. So 2 at 75, 1 at 85 as far as the Memphis sports teams. It could be a banner season. It could be a great, and I don't want to say year because obviously it goes through the end of 24 into 25. But this sports 24-25 campaign coming up, there could be a lot of cheering locally.
Could be, but all of those things could happen, and then you could end up, if the football team went to the conference championship game and lost, if the Tigers went to the NCAA tournament, lost the first round, and the Grizzlies go to the playoffs and lose in the first round. So what? They all three happened, but nothing. So what?
Right. Which would be the most disappointing if it doesn't happen?
Well, again, I mean, if the Tiger basketball team can't win this conference, like I don't know what we're doing.
I agree. I think that would be the most. Even though we have a situation where I don't think anybody right now can say this is a 100% NCAA tournament team. We don't know. We just don't know the guys. We don't know the chemistry. We don't know the makeup of this team. We can guess. But with that said, I agree with you. Still, the talent that was brought in, and we know about the talent because we read about these guys. We've seen these guys individually. We know what they bring to the table. Maybe not as big a names as you had in the past, but guys that have performed well. Most of them have performed admirably at their respective old stops. Then you have the fact that this conference is weakened by Florida Atlantic, and what they were doing the last couple of years is done. It's over. Who takes a step up in the conference? Again, there may be a team that takes a step up, but seemingly it doesn't seem like there's anybody that did that much in the offseason to become a contender. So I agree with you. I think that would be the biggest disappointment. This past season was a disaster. There were mitigating circumstances. We understand that, but it would be a disaster. Memphis football, would you say second? Or would you put the Grizzlies? I would put Memphis football to just get to the conference championship game, despite the tough schedule.
Yeah, I think it would be an extremely disappointing. Again, I put them both at 75% to happen. Now, But with Memphis football, with the excitement, anticipation, everything of this year, to me, the only way the Grizzlies aren't going to make the playoffs is if there's injuries again, and there's nothing you could do to control that. So, like, if they end up with a bunch of injuries and they don't make it, while it's disappointing, you go, okay, well, that happens. If Memphis, same thing with Memphis football or any of these, if Seth Hennigan were to get hurt and he misses half the season,
Bite your tongue.
You go, okay, well, I mean, it sucks, but we understand that. But if everybody remained healthy, and everything else, I don't know. I think it would be, again, pretty similar as far as this one. If the Grizzlies are healthy, they should be a playoff team.
Are you saying playoff in the top 6, or are you including the 4 play-in spots? Are they a top? They're in the postseason. They're a top 10 team.
No, they're in the playoffs.
So they're a top 16.
Well, you could win the. You could win the play-in. You're in the playoffs. That means you're a top 8 seed.
Okay, so
you're playing a playoff series.
Okay.
Now, again, I don't think it would come to that. I think if the Grizzlies are healthy, they are definitely a top 6 team in the Western Conference. But they should be in the playoffs.
They should be. I don't think there's a guarantee, though. And the reason I say that would be the toughest one is because of the improvement of some of these other Western Conference teams. We still don't know. There's uncertainties in the fact that we don't know how Marcus Smart will play alongside Ja and Dez. It was a rarity last year. It was like a unicorn. We don't know if Edey's going to be that guy. We hope he's that guy. They took him number 9 to be that guy to replace Steven Adams. Now, again, they have all the talent in the world that they should be absolutely a playoff team. And I think they will as well. I'm just playing devil's advocate that there's a lot of improvement in the West with some of these teams. I mean, there's only a couple of the dreads anymore. There's a lot of teams that are in competition and a lot of teams that have made vast improvements. I mean, we saw what Dallas did last year, just making those moves they did before the trade deadline and went all the way to the NBA Finals. So I think, personally, I think that's the toughest of the 3. Because, again, football, even though they got a tough road schedule, I'm not talking about winning the conference championship game. I'm talking about just getting into the championship game. And if you're not a top 2, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. And then with basketball, you hit it on the head, and everybody knows that. That conference is pitiful.
Tiger Steve texts in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener and says, write it down, Tiger basketball will not win the conference. It's a downhill spiral. We are becoming a football town unless Penny is gone.
Tiger Steve, if you're listening, do the Tigers basketball team still make the NCAA tournament?
No way. They don't win this conference. They ain't making the tournament.
If they had a great regular season, great numbers, won some of their big non-conference games, lost on a tip-in in the championship game, would they get an at-large?
I'm going to guess if Tiger Steve doesn't believe they're winning the conference, he doesn't believe they're making the NCAA tournament.
I just want to be sure about that. I believe you're right, but I just want to make sure.
When you call it a downhill spiral, I'm guessing you're not thinking, but they'll be a tournament team.
Yeah, it's true. I know, just making sure.
I'll go with that theory.
Well, people can look at it and go, you didn't win the conference championship again? Then it's still down, even though you put together a bunch of wins during the regular season. Again, last year, that's what happened, right? They had all those big non-conference wins early and then had some stumbles along the way in the conference, and it cost them in the end. Anyway, I think those percentages that you put together are pretty good, and I think that it certainly can come to fruition. It could be an unbelievable year. Then again, there could be a lot of disappointed people if they don't reach those goals. I think all those goals that we just talked about are attainable by those 3 sports entities.
Genesis Diamonds, folks, if you're buying a diamond, you need to make sure you know exactly what you're looking for, what affects prices, those types of things. And that's exactly what the folks at Genesis Diamonds will do for you. They will educate you. They will help you, tell you and explain how diamonds are priced on the world market, what affects the what the quality specs, what can make a huge difference in the value of the diamond, things that you need to be looking for and things that you probably have no clue about. They've got non-commissioned salespeople over there. They're not there to help you try and fight to make you, buy the most expensive thing in the store. They're just there to help you pick out that perfect piece of jewelry, tell you what you should be looking at, what you should be looking for, educate you to make you a smarter shopper when it comes to buying jewelry. That's what they do at Genesis Diamonds, along with their unbelievable selection of all kinds of jewelry, all the top designers, unbelievable selection of the diamonds, whether it be lab-grown diamonds, whether it be natural diamonds. They've got it all for you at Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Buster's Butcher at 199 South Highland Street in Memphis. We're a full-service butcher shop offering a curated selection of quality meats, cheeses, prepared foods, and more. At Buster's, our skilled butchers are also experienced chefs. They'll be delighted to guide you on selecting, preparing, and cooking our fine selection of products. We're like nothing else you can find in Memphis. Learn more at bustersbutcher.com and come see why every cut counts at Buster's Butcher.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? Huh,
you don't say.
Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist. That's right.
Insurance company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you will find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
To understand what makes Genesis Diamonds so different than other jewelry stores, you have to go back over 40 years to the diamond cutting capital of Tel Aviv, Israel. That's where Genesis owner Boaz Ramon grew up, in the center of the diamond universe. His connections with the best diamond cutters allowed him special access, giving rise to a thriving wholesale business here in the United States. Then, after a few years, this wholesaler changed the game and started selling these precious diamonds direct to the public at the same prices he had sold to the jewelry stores. The no middleman concept became an instant success. Today, Genesis Diamonds provides that extraordinary value to people right here in Middle Tennessee, leading the industry with the highest quality diamonds that still come straight from the best cutters, offered at the guaranteed best price of any jewelry store in America. Genesis Diamonds, a truly revolutionary concept with a unique history rooted in quality, committed to excellence, and always focused on value. Genesis Diamonds, a luxury brand, Rolexes, and Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Tiger Steve says, I don't think so, just because of past history, too much drama.
Okay.
Tiger Steve's just going to become Steve. He could be
He's
hater.
stripped of his stripes.
Hater Steve. Tony says Penny's problem is at a certain point in the season, the players quit on him.
I don't know. I don't know how to react to that. I don't know if they quit on him. They just didn't perform, I can tell you that. So we talked earlier about inside the NBA. After this upcoming season, the NBA leaves TNT. What happens to those guys, if anything? Does Charles really retire? Inside the NBA, many believe is the best sports show out there as far as pregame and halftime, postgame. I think it's second to College Game Day. And College Game Day had a big announcement yesterday that the gang's all back together. Pat McAfee signed for the upcoming season. Coach Lee Corso back again. God, Lee is how old now? Was he mid-80s?
I have no idea how old he is.
And Nick Saban is part of the broadcast as well. So now you have a gigantic desk presented by the Home Depot. You have Desmond Howard, you have Reese Davis, you have Nick Saban, you have Pat McAfee, you have Lee Corso, you have Kirk Herbstreit.
Well, Corso's not up there very much. I mean, other than the picks, he's pretty much not at the table.
They pull him out. A couple years ago, it was Pollock, right, that they sacked in favor of McAfee, if I'm not mistaken, David Pollock. And then their Fox counterpart, they have 5, correct? Urban Meyer, Reggie Bush, Leinart. There's a 4th.
Brady Quinn.
And then the host is, what's the guy's name?
I have no idea.
Rob Stone?
Sure.
I think it's Rob Stone. They have 5. These 6 dudes, but again, like you said, Corso's in and out. And they're all together, and you add Nick Saban into it. It's a great team. It's just a great team. They do a great job. I think it's number 1, and then I would put inside the NBA at number 2.
The Corso thing, I mean, I get it, like whatever, but come on, man. It's painful to watch him, even the little bit they try and have him do. Like they basically just have him do the picks now. And it just...
I know.
You just cringe watching it. Like Herbstreit literally has to finish sentences for him.
I know. It's one of those deals where, I mean, he's been a part of it. He's their family, and it's tough to let that go. I mean, I'm sure it was tough for CBS and the whole Vern Lundquist situation, but they make sure they put Vern back on the Masters this past year and, wheel him out whenever they have to, and whenever they can. It's a rough situation. You just don't want to lose a friend, family member, and that's what they are. Those guys have been together for a long, long time. I kind of think it's endearing, to be honest with you, with the way Kirk Herbstreit is there for Coach Corso. I don't mind it.
Oh, the way Kurt handles it is unbelievable how good he is, like, because he literally can finish his sentences for him. But it's just I get uncomfortable every time.
Do you really?
I just don't like watching somebody struggle like that, and I just don't know why they want to continue to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. I mean, obviously, if that guy was really sick, cancer, and they're wheeling him up there, he had a stroke, and he's battled back a little bit from it. He still slurs his words, not all of them, and he still has his thoughts.
He
doesn't have dementia.
This isn't anything about politics, but it's what we're just watching with the president of the United States. Like, it's uncomfortable to watch him try and speak because they can't finish sentences.
Yeah.
If that doesn't make you uncomfortable, like, I don't know what does. I just don't like watching people be in that setting and struggle that way. It just makes me uncomfortable.
Should they replace Corso with Kamala?
They don't need a replacement. They have plenty of people on that stage already. They don't need another replacement for him. They're good. Somebody else could. Again, to me, retire the whole headgear thing or whatever, let McAfee do whatever he wants to do. I don't care, but the headgear stuff was awesome. I've loved it for years and years. I think Corso was great when he was able to do it. He's just not able to do it anymore, and that's just is what it is.
It's tough. We always talk about this with athletes. It's tough to hang up the jersey, to retire. And then you have coaches and even broadcasters that just they hang on because It's not that they don't have anything else. They have families. Most of the time they have families. It's just that they probably feel like they're going to die if they lose that. If they stop doing that, they go home and just sit around and watch a game on TV, even with family, that it's not the same. It's not the same impact. It's that camaraderie. It's that excitement to get up for an event. Yeah, it is cringeworthy at times. I understand that. But again, to me, I just think it's endearing the way they handle it. He's not on there the whole time, like you said. And they're going to keep him on as long as he wants to do it. I think it's more in his corner to say, that's it, guys, I'm going to step down. But I can tell you why he's not doing it. I feel very comfortable in saying that a lot of times with athletes, former coaches, broadcasters, maybe even people in the regular workplace, they just feel if they stop, that stops their life. They're going to die if they don't have that to look forward to each and every day or each and every week.
This time of our show is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Go to BigGreenEgg.com to get all the details about the egg and all the egg accessories. With the lifetime warranty, 7 different sizes of the eggs, whatever size grill you're looking for, I'm sure they've got one for you. You get all the information about all the versatility, everything it allows you to do, whether you're looking to go low and slow for 8 to 10 hours or fire it up to 700 degrees to sear a steak, whatever it is, and anything in between. Big Green Egg makes it so easy to do that. And then all the accessories with even the sauces and rubs and other things, absolutely fantastic stuff from the Big Green Egg and BigGreenEgg.com. You can also find them at the Ace Hardware stores around town and Hamilton Fireplace here as well. They are distributors of the Big Green Egg.
When we come back, we'll open up Hour 2 talking NFL. And I'm going to ask the question that Aaron Rodgers made a point about yesterday. He says there's 8 to 12 teams that can win the Super Bowl this season. Want to talk about that. Love to hear from you guys as far as which teams you think have a chance, a legitimate chance to win the Super Bowl. And then at about 8:25 or so, we'll talk Major League Baseball with Kerry Miller. Frank Bonner still to come at 9:05 on Memphis Tigers football. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They're taking care of business in Memphis, right on the river with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
All 650 acquisition fee, $20,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, Forte RE794066, MSRP 21820, Telluride RG543666, MSRP 39835, EV9 R602 29603, MSRP 61035. Includes all rebates and incentives and PF 695. Includes tax, title, license, registration, and fees. Must finance through Hyundai with approved credit valid through 7/31/24. Dealer stock only.
I got Jeff Allen on the line, Gossett Kia, South Mount Moriah. Hey, dude, you ready to rock our world?
You better believe it, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $199 a month, $37.99 due at signing. 2024 Kia Telluride S, $379 per month, $39.99 due at signing. And 304 EPA estimated range for $389 a month in a 2024 Kia EV9 Lite, or get 0% for 48 months, $49.99 due at signing, all 24-month leases.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Or online, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Make your next grill your last with Big Green Egg. Easy Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched long-neck wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your big green egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South Flag Station and Post Road.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawa Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawa is an ACUSA church located in downtown Memphis. This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a couple of accidents in their clearing stages out here. It's trying to pick up in certain sections of 385 Billmores Parkway, passing Hacks Crossroads, coming in from Collierville, headed towards Memphis. Traffic still not bad. 55 northbound up through South Haven. Hey, Havenly Showers, your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub to curbless shower conversions. For more info on this, just log on to havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:03 the time. Hour 2 here on Sports 56 mornings. The Thursday, July 25th, 2024 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently, it's 74 degrees. We got an excessive heat warning. It's going to get to 85 today, so not in the 90s, not in the hundreds, not in the triple digits, but with the humidity at 95%, it's going to feel a lot warmer out there, so an excessive heat warning in effect. Cloudy for the most part, occasional rain showers, about a 46% chance of precipitation. Tonight, 72. Cloudy with light rain developing after midnight, about a 61% chance. And then tomorrow, more rain in the forecast with a high of 82. Hour 2 of the program brought to you by our friends at James Gaddis Jewelers. They are your family's jeweler. 4900 Poplar Avenue, right there in the heart of East Memphis, between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at GaddisJewelers.com. I've talked about this many different times when I've talked about James Gaddis Jewelers, one of our great sponsors. They can customize jewelry. So you have an old family heirloom just sitting around collecting dust. You want to modernize it. You want to customize it. They can make it to your specifications. What they'll do is they'll give you a free 3D rendering. They'll do that right away. Show you what it will look like, and then if you go with it, they'll get it done, and it will be very quickly as they will take care of business and get you that new look with your jewelry. Again, customized jewelry at James Gaddis Jewelers. But if you're looking for that special engagement ring, wedding rings of all types, personally designed wedding sets, they are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Plus, beautiful watches and bracelets, necklaces and earrings and pendants, gemstones of all types, and the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry, which they're always adding to their collection. I can guarantee you go there a couple of times in a week, you will see a lot of different jewelry every time you go in there. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, right between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at GaddisJewelers.com.
We were talking about Corsa. Now, this is a completely different situation. But did you see Deshaun Foster at Big Ten Media Days?
So I meant to flip it on, and I didn't. And then I saw the video, and I forgot. So I don't know. I know that he redeemed himself later, but what did he say?
He just froze up. Like
he froze?
He just like he said he's not a big talker,
right.
I guess, but yeah, in his opening statement, like he just like he didn't know what to say. Like, and at the end, he just kind of. Like at one point, he just kind of started looking around and was just like kind of started laughing and then was just like, yeah, we're excited. It was like, oh, whoa. It's just weird because you just don't see coaches do that in those settings. And he just completely froze up.
Wow. Now you wonder if he's better in small settings where there's only a couple of people because he had to interview for that job. Now, he's a former UCLA great. I don't think they just handed him a job that's that important if he struggled to speak with 2-3 people, whoever was there at the meetings when they first interviewed Deshaun Foster. I'm going to guess in this case that he probably froze because it was a large audience. But yeah, I mean, you gotta win him over in the press conference. It's very rare not to win him over in the press conference. But look, if he brings the goods, UCLA's going to struggle a bit in this first season. Who knows how long it will take them to get back to where they once were. It's been a few years, but he was a great player, a great running back. I feel a little sad to hear that. I haven't seen it. I don't think I want to watch it now. I feel bad when that happens to people.
He said something. It was he said something about bringing the Big Ten, bringing UCLA and the Big Ten brand together, something like that. And he said, like a lot of you guys probably don't know much about UCLA. We're in Los Angeles. It's like, I think most people piece that together. I don't know. Like, I kind of feel like, I think the media there at Big Ten Media Days knows where UCLA is located. It's in the name. I think they know what that LA stands for. But and then he goes, it's us and USC. I think they know that too. I think most people piece that together, that USC is also in LA. Like he was just, you could tell he was like struggling to find something to say.
Hollywood's in Los Angeles. They make movies out there.
They just kept saying we're excited, and then literally like just froze and didn't know what to say.
That's a shame.
And then just said at the end, yeah, we're just excited.
You know, everybody's not an orator. If he brings the goods and this team gets better and better and then eventually becomes competitive in the Big Ten, that's all they could ask for from Deshaun Foster. But, yeah, it's sad.
Because who was it one of the guys, was it Beamer at SEC Media Days? One of them had a 17-minute opening statement.
It was Beamer.
Yeah, it was Beamer.
So, Deshaun Foster literally couldn't get through a minute and a half. Shane Beamer is going for 17 minutes on his opening statement.
Well, one, if you're not good in memorizing or you're going to freeze up in situations like that, a lot of people struggle with public speaking, then write down some notes or just do an opening, or like a quick line or two, and then take questions. Just like, hey, let's have a Q&A session.
It could be as simple as, well, in the Pac-12, we didn't have all this media, so we didn't have like a lot of people wanted to come and ask me a bunch of questions. Now we got the whole nation.
But he's never done it. It's his first time as a coach, so he's first time as the head coach. So this is his first experience. But yeah, it sounds like it's just a simple freeze up. By the way, as far as UCLA is concerned, not only do people understand where UCLA is, I would say that UCLA is a top 20 brand in college sports, like a name, UCLA. All those years of basketball and John Wooden and the Wizard of Westwood and all that stuff, the Bill Waltons, the Lou Alcindors. This is a brand that people know. There's no question. As much as they know The Ohio State University and Alabama, they know UCLA. I would bet my bottom dollar on that people know and recognize. They probably recognize UCLA more than they even recognize USC.
I'm guessing that the media that covers Big Ten Media Days knows where UCLA is and has heard of it.
Or they've done a lot of homework and research.
I'm just guessing that the people who cover college football for a living happen to understand where UCLA is located.
So last night I watched part 4 of the New York Giants Hard Knocks off-season, whatever it was. I don't know how many parts it is. This one leading up to the draft. But then I saw the news yesterday that former Giants running back Saquon Barkley said he wasn't aware at the time that his conversation with Joe Shane, the general manager of the Giants, was being recorded. Didn't he see all the cameras in there? Or were there no cameras in there? There had to be cameras. We saw the video.
I assume he's talking about the phone conversation. The phone conversation, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't say when I saw it here. It was.
I don't believe there was ever an on-camera conversation with him and Shane.
Oh, there wasn't. Okay.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think back. I don't think there was ever a time where he and.
That's right.
Where they were in person. All the conversations with Barkley were on the phone.
But there were on-camera conversations with Barkley, but it was with other people. It wasn't Shane. You're right.
Yeah, at Penn State Pro Day, he was talking to the assistant coach.
Yeah, and some of the scouts.
But Shane was not, he did not talk with Shane at that. So I'm assuming
you're right.
He's talking about the phone conversation.
So is that an issue? Can he make it an issue if he wants? Saquon? Don't they have to?
There was nothing used that was anything bad for Saquon.
No.
So
I understand that.
I don't know why he would make it an issue.
Well, but don't they have to tell you when you're being recorded on the phone? When an interview is being recorded to use for whatever purpose it may be?
I mean, they should have told him, like, hey, that they're, and I don't know, why they wouldn't have, but again, not like anything that was used that does anything bad for Saquon.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm just saying if he wants to make a big deal about it, he probably can make a big deal about it because he wasn't told. Jim Harbaugh, his first camp as the Chargers head coach, he said to the media, it's like being born. It's like coming out of the womb. Always a good quote from Mr. Khaki Pants. It's like coming out of the womb. I wouldn't know, Jim. I don't remember coming out of the womb. I know I did. I don't remember. Maybe he remembers. Maybe he had a big glass of milk as soon as he got out of the womb.
Jim's a weird cat.
I have a feeling, though, they're going to do well. It may not be this year. I think they'll do fine. But I think you'll have the Chargers really competitive.
By the way, on the Hard Knocks deal, this last episode, it was. I mean, when he started going through, when they started going through the first round quarterbacks of the past, I don't remember how many years did they do? What did he do?
He went back to 2014, 10 years.
Last 10 years of first round quarterbacks, and they start listing those names.
Paxton Lynch,
and you're like, yeah, wow. I mean, but then they were still talking about trading up for a quarterback. I would have been like, that would have scared me off. I'd been like, no, we're not trading up for a quarterback. This is just dumb. Like, look at these. Look what's happened over the last 10 years of drafting these quarterbacks.
It's because Daboll said the 2020 class, I think it was the 2020 class, which had Burrow and who all was in the 2020 class? They were all hits. And I think that's probably why they were like, okay, even though the last 10 years there's been a lot of misses.
But then you have the situation because it is the Giants, and even Mara comes in there and talks about the Eli Manning situation. It's like,
right,
that you can understand why they go, hey, listen, trading up for a quarterback in our history's been all right. So it's, but again, it's
how about the video?
It's amazing to see the. Again, how all this stuff unfolds behind the scenes.
It's fascinating.
How much John Mara comes walking into his office to talk to him. It amazing. I know he's the owner of the team. You feel like he's going to be involved, but the amount of times he just comes walking into the GM's office just to kind of talk about what's going on, it always surprises me. I'm like, man, he really wants to know. Even like he's like, you do what you got to do. Like he's not telling him what to do, but it's just like he wants to know for sure what is going on.
He knocks on the door at least. At least he doesn't just bust on in there. But what about the video of Ben Roethlisberger with our buddy, the super agent,
Lee Steinberg, saying, wow, that's a lot to give up in the trade, the exchange of the picks, Eli Manning and then Phillip Rivers. Everybody remembers that trade, what the Giants also had to throw in to get Manning from the Chargers, and then it works out. They win 2 Super Bowls, and he becomes an all-time great. But, yeah, I can understand the intrepidation of picking a quarterback. They wanted to move up and get Jaden Daniels. And they said, Drake May, they like Drake May a lot as well. But they also love those receivers, all 3 of them.
the kid from Washington.
Roma Dunze. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Marvin Harrison, right.
Malik Neighbors.
But how about when the wide receivers coach said that he liked Neighbors the best of the three, and they ended up getting Neighbors. So they were extremely happy. And, of course, the episode ends, and we'll get more of that reaction next time, episode number 5. But it is. You're right. It's absolutely fascinating. A couple of other NFL notes, and again, we don't have a lot of time right now in this segment. We'll do it a little bit later on in the show, but I want to go over the list. There's no list, but I want to make a list of 8 to 12 teams that can win the Super Bowl this season, because that's what Aaron Rodgers said. Not that it comes to fruition just because Rodgers said it, but he thinks there's 8 to 12 teams that can win the Super Bowl this season. Want to kind of come up with a list and also include you guys and your texts on those 8 to 12 NFL teams. But a couple of other NFL notes. Joe Burrow and the hair. What's up with that?
Changing things up, going Eminem.
Eminem, he looked like who's the wrestler? He's now the champion.
That's Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes. That's who I thought it was. Like when I first was on X, I go, that's that guy Cody Rhodes, isn't it? Dusty Rhodes' kid. And no, it was Joe Burrow.
He looks. When I saw the picture, he looked like the bad kid in the videos that everybody. It's like, oh no, it's like you don't want to talk to Steve. Steve is like, no, you don't want.
He's the bad
Stay
kid.
away from Steve.
What, like all movies.
He's the rebellious kid, or dyeing his hair, all that stuff. I don't have a problem with it. Joe's turning things, going for a new look. Good for Joe.
Is he Johnny from the Karate Kid?
Hey, whatever he wants to do. I'm just jealous he has hair.
I'm just saying that the ladies love it when he takes his hand and kind of slicks it back a little bit, right before he put his helmet on. That's what I heard from the ladies.
Well, Joe Shane's daughter wanted the Giants to draft J.J. McCarthy. He said, the son said she just wants him to draft him because he's good looking.
Yeah.
That's what all the daughter just wants him to draft because they're good looking.
Hey, I'll tell you this, though. When Jaden Daniels walked through that door into his office, I didn't realize Jaden Daniels is that big.
Big boy.
I knew he was not small. He wasn't Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And I know of his talents, and I watched LSU, and I saw this guy fling it around the field and run. But holy smokes, is he big. Wow.
He's 6'4".
He's a big dude, man. He is a big dude. So we'll talk more about the NFL. And again, the Rodgers thoughts that 8 to 12 teams can win the Super Bowl this year. We'll go over that list and come up with our own with the help of you guys as well. I do want to tell you about one of our great sponsors at Shoot 360 Memphis. Now a second location open in this great city of ours. They've been in Collierville for a number of years now, and now they're open in Cordova. You can become a member at either location or a member at both, and now they've transitioned to monthly memberships. So what I would advise you to do, if you are into basketball, you have a son or a daughter, a grandson, granddaughter, whatever the case may be, this is a great gift, birthday gift, present. If you haven't given a graduation present yet to your loved ones that have graduated recently, this is really good, especially for those who are looking to improve the game of basketball, playing the game of basketball, but specifically improve their shot. This is the place for you. You call them at 901-316-5500. Set up a tour, either one of the facilities, whatever's closest to you. Look around. You'll be amazed, I guarantee you. Then sign up for a month. Test it out. You're going to fall in love with it. If you don't, no problem. No harm, no foul. You paid for 1 month. You're not going to be bogged down with a long-term contract. It's monthly. Check it out today. This is revolutionary. It is a training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with expert coaching to improve your shooting skills. You get real-time feedback on the shooting accuracy, arc and depth. Players can track their progress and analyze their performance. It's all the modern analytics you want, but also you get the one-on-one coaching as well. It's a great combination. It's Shoot 360 Memphis, where the preps and pros go to get their shot on. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're talking Major League Baseball with Kerry Miller. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Simple, smooth, and every sip is easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, mainly 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Listen up, I got Marty McNate on the line at Gossett Volkswagen, Germantown. Hey, McNate, how far back you moving on prices?
Way back, Randy. Doc told me you can take your pick. 2024 Teos SE or 2024 Jetta Sport. Gotta go back in time to the good old days at $275 a month.
Great Scott, McNate. Gossett Volkswagen on Germantown is really moving prices back.
That's right, Randy.
And I hear you got the 2024 Atlas Peak Editions going for $5,000 off MSRP, or you can get 1.9 for 60 months.
That's right, Randy. Your future's whatever you make of it, so let's get to Gossett Volkswagen, Germantown.
Ask for Marty to find out how much he can move you back on price. Hey, Marty, hit us with that Gossett Volkswagen locator.
7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a bit of volume coming down Billmore's Parkway right now, 385 from Riverdale all the way to 240. Still not too bad in the Midtown area. Normally this time of the morning it would really be crowded over here, but it's looking good on 240 north at Lamar. Again, as you head up through the Midtown area. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them today at Weimer's Jewelry. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56 mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:27 the time. Just about halfway home on this Thursday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Coming up in hour 3, Frank Bonner will join us. We'll talk Memphis Tigers football, American Conference football with Frank. But right now, it's time to talk baseball with Kerry Miller.
It's time to talk some baseball. Joining Greg and Eli is Kerry Miller from the Bleacher Report. Here's Kerry with Greg and Eli.
He is Kerry Miller from Bleacher Report. He joins us every Thursday during the Major League Baseball season to talk MLB. You can follow him on Twitter at Carrance James. What's up, Kerry?
Hey, Greg. How's it going?
Going pretty well. We are closing in on the trade deadline, as you know, on July 30th. We'll talk about that in a second. I did want to ask you this. I know there is no baseball in this year's Olympic Games. It goes, comes and goes. Rob Manfred recently talked about the possibility of actually pausing the season when the Olympics come, when it's an Olympiad that has baseball. And so that gives the chance that the best players for the respective countries play. Would you want that to happen?
No. The more that Rob Manfred just pitches randomized, did you see the thing like a week ago? He's talking about changing the foul lines.
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, he wants to flare the foul lines now. So you're still running, the baselines would still be the same, but there'd be a little more space for balls to be fair because batting average isn't good enough. Everything that he pitches just feels worse. I don't know. I know that hockey pauses their season for the Olympics, so he's not coming up with that idea on his own, but the season is long enough. We don't need to go from March 5th to the end of November just to accommodate the Olympics every 4 years.
Well, yeah, that would be the thing. I don't know how you would fit it in. Some of these cities you can't be going. So I don't know if you just play a ton of double headers through the season because you can't be really starting it earlier in some of these cities.
Right.
You can't be going that much later in some of these cities. You got some cold weather stuff already going on. So I don't know how you would, unless every 4 years, literally you played less games in the season and played a 154 game schedule or whatever. And the owners certainly aren't going for that.
Right.
So I don't know how you would possibly even make it work. The Christian Yelich news that he may need the back surgery, his season could be done. If that is the case, the Brewers they don't like to spend money. I don't see them making some huge move at the deadline. Do the Cardinals suddenly become the favorite in the Central?
Yeah, I think so. The Brewers have been, I'm putting together a ranking of the best offenses, coming up with the MVP and the LVP for each team. I don't really have an LVP for Milwaukee. Everybody's kind of good. They just got a bunch of Bs beyond Christian Yelich, who was the clear MVP. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from here because their offense already wasn't great. They're stealing a lot of bases. They're manufacturing runs, but they're not home run. They're not hitting all that well. So now that goes down without Yelich. So we'll see what they're able to do. Certainly their rotation was already a gigantic question mark. And like you said, we don't really expect them to go out of their way spending money to improve that. So, yeah, I think the Cardinals might run them down here.
I agree with you about the offense and really the lack of the firepower. But they have done a great job in manufacturing runs. They're a plus 84. The Phillies are a plus 109. That's not that far off. But the Cardinals continue to amaze me. We joked about them earlier in the year with you. I talked about that series I went up to St. Louis and watched them lose 2 out of 3 to the White Sox, which I thought was the low point. But then the low point, as you pointed out, I think was that week after. And then since then, they have figured out ways to win despite a minus 36 run differential. What has been the difference for the Cardinals?
Yeah, I don't know. They are this year's Marlins from last season, where I think they had a minus 53 run differential and made the playoffs. Like, it's bizarre that some teams are able to make it work, and then you got Cincinnati 4 games behind them with a plus 39 run differential. Like,
right.
Sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. Some teams are just more clutch, and certainly Ryan Helsley's been one of the best closers in all of baseball. So he's up there with Emmanuel Clase from the Guardians, who just never blows anything. So that helps you a ton. But they're definitely going to want to add a starting pitcher ahead of the deadline. I've seen rumors of Eovaldi, if Texas is willing to move him, Zach Eflin from the Rays, Eric Fetty from the White Sox. Apparently they're looking for somebody who's in their mid-30s and has a year of team control remaining after this season. That's what all the rumors seem to be.
Well, they love their older
profile,
starting
right?
pitchers in St. Louis. They spent the whole offseason getting them. Now they might as well go get some other ones. The other injury news, Mike Trout, not good news as he gets pulled from his rehab assignment. I would assume we're not seeing Mike Trout again this year.
Yeah, I don't see why we would, as far back as the Angels are, unless they're trying to advertise him to trade him this offseason or something. I don't know. I don't see the point. But yeah, it's gotten to the point with Trout where you just expect this, sadly. Yeah. He's always getting hurt. He can't ever seem to stay healthy. I mean, man, early April, right? This was going to be another MVP year. He had like 10 home runs in 19 games or something absurd. And then Mike Trout things happened, and here the Angels are where we always expect them to be.
The wild American League West, as we all thought, Houston was going to get their act together, and they have. They're getting healthier, which spells possible danger for Seattle and even for the defending champion Rangers, although Seattle just a game out. Texas is 3 out. But Seattle, over the weekend, the players got booed off the field basically on Sunday as they finished up their 3-game set with the Halos and got swept. They scored 1 run, the Mariners did, in each of those games. 1-5 start since the All-Star break going into action last night. I'm not sure what happened last night, but the point is that Seattle is fading. Texas is kind of right now just kind of treading water. And here comes Houston, and they're getting healthier, which I know, unless you're an Astros fan, you hate to see it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been on fire. I think they were 12-24, something like that at one point, and had the best record in baseball to close the first half. After that, I assume they probably still have the best record in baseball since then. But yeah, Seattle on that list of top offenses, they are 28 out of 30. That's not good.
Wow.
Bottom 10%, and I mean, it was almost tempting to put them below the Marlins. Let's put it that way. They've been just a train wreck. They cut Ty France without really a backup plan at what they're going to do at first base, and there's not much of a market this year. I don't know if they're planning on trading for Josh Bell and paying him, the $6 million left on his salary and hoping he somehow turns a corner, because doesn't sound like Vladdy's going anywhere. We assume at this point with the Mets in the playoff picture, Pete Alonso's not going anywhere, Goldschmidt's not going anywhere, Christian Walker. So there's no first baseman available, but the Mariners are like, okay, we're done with ours. We'll figure it out from here. So that's a pretty good microcosm of their season. But yeah, Houston, inevitable. I feel like we've been talking about that for 2 months. We didn't cut the head off the rattlesnake when we had the chance, and they found their way, and probably going to be one of those teams that adds a pitcher. If there is a first baseman out there, they're probably going to outbid Seattle for it and fix their primary problem and just run away with the AL West.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the Mariners, the 5 losses since the All-Star break, 0 runs, 2 runs, and then the series against the Angels, the 3-game, which I watched the last game yesterday, 1-1-1. I mean, it's not like the Angels have some dominant pitching staff, and if you can't score more than 1 run in a game against the Angels, that doesn't make your home fans real happy.
Yeah, I think the Angels have maybe outside of the White Sox, the worst pitching staff in baseball. So yeah, you got to score against that team if you're trying to prove anything.
Speaking of the White Sox pitching staff, their starting pitchers, Crochet, who do you think is the top candidate for him to end up?
It always seems to come back to Baltimore. I mean, they have the prospects to offer. Pretty much every single player with 1 or 2 years of team control remaining that has some star power has been linked to Baltimore at this point because they have so many top 100 prospects that they could offer up. The Dodgers seem to be desperate enough to make a move for Crochet. I don't understand it because they just got Glasnow and is Kershaw back or coming back?
Yes.
One of the two. So that duo's back. The Yamamoto might be back by the end of the season. Stone and Landon Knack have been pitching well. Like they don't need to go get a guy with 2.5 years of team control because in theory they're going to have Ohtani back next year. They're going to have Dustin May back next year. They're going to have Tony Gonsolin back next year. So I don't. They should go get a Jack Flaherty. Kerry. I don't know why they would want Crochet, but goodness knows they'll spend the money if they need to.
Yeah, they don't care. I mean, they're going to spend as much money as it takes, and they think outspending the old Yankees way, the old George Steinbrenner way, that's going to win them the World Series. I don't know. Maybe it will, but they've been pretty adamant. Their GM has come out and said, it's whatever it takes for the Dodgers to be the World Series champions. They're going to do whatever they need to do. So they're certainly going to be in the market, I would think, because that pitching staff has been up and down with injuries this year, a little bit healthier now than they were a while back. As far as the Yankees are concerned, the Yankees have hit a swoon. They have had their moments. They certainly were better earlier in the year when they led the Orioles. Now they're behind the Orioles. It's kind of gone back and forth. What do the Yankees need to do to, one, fix problems? And of course, staying healthy is going to be a big part of it. But to fix their problems, and who do you think that they may be going after to help them before the trade deadline?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to get Tanner Scott from Miami, their left-handed closer. I don't know if they'll use him as a closer over Clay Holmes. I know there's been talk of that, but they need a left-handed reliever. He's clearly the best on the market. Impending free agent. I mean, there's 120% chance that Tanner Scott goes somewhere, and it'll probably be the Yankees. Beyond that, I don't really know because I mean their rotation was unbelievable early in the year. Like if they can just get that back to some degree, right? And despite the fact that it really is only Judge and Soto in the offense until Stanton gets back, they're still leading the majors in runs scored. It kind of defies all logic. I forget who they were playing the other day that Judge got walked 4 times, though. I think only one of them was technically intentional, but he only saw 2 strikes in 4 plate appearances. They should be doing that every game against Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. I don't understand it. They're allowing the Yankees to hang around.
That was the Mets, because, in that Subway Series, the Mets did that. And then Soto was hitting like 500-something, I think, since the All-Star break. That dude is just crazy.
Who's the kid, though? Is it Rice that they brought up?
Yeah, Ben Rice. He was great for the first couple of weeks. Now he's kind of fading back to the rest of the team. I think he had, when I looked at the other day, the Judge and Soto both have an OPS over 1,000, obviously. And then Ben Rice was, aside from Stanton, the next best, and he was down to like 715. So, I mean, that's like good for the White Sox. It's not good for the Yankees.
Right. You mentioned some teams that might need a first baseman, not many available. Cody Bellinger, it looks like, is coming back soon from the broken finger. Do teams, if you need a first baseman, do you call the Cubs about Bellinger?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, usually guys with even 1 year of a player option are tough to trade. He's got 2 of them. You don't really know what the market is. We usually don't see those guys get traded. So I don't know. But certainly the Cubs are willing to trade some of their rental guys. How they view Bellinger in that light, do they assume he's going to opt out and try and sign a bigger contract this offseason? Maybe, but you still have to, for trade value purposes, assume that he might agree to that 2-year, $52 million left on the deal. So he's a tough one to trade. The other guy I've seen popping up in rumors recently was Spencer Torkelson, who was the number 1 overall pick in 2020, played really well for the Tigers last year, and then just couldn't hit anything this year. Got sent back to the minors, but he's got like 4 or 5 years of team control remaining, and I don't know that would be an upgrade for Seattle or Houston right now. Like that might be guy who gets traded in the offseason. I don't see him getting moved right now, but I think we're just kind of desperate to find any first baseman that might be movable.
Is speaking of the Tigers, is Skubal the top pitcher or Crochet the top pitcher? That would be
I think
probably
it's
available.
Skubal. I mean, he definitely has the longer track record. I mean, I think they both recently had Tommy John surgery, so they both have a little bit of a health concern there. But yeah, I mean, he's been great. I mean, you could argue he's been the best pitcher in all of baseball. Certainly this season, maybe over the last 2 to 3 years. But I don't know why they would do that. Like, it makes sense for the White Sox to trade Crochet because they're not going to be good again in the next 2 years. But Tigers were pretty good early on. They're close. Colt Keith started slow. Now he's hitting really well. If they do hang on to Torkelson and he comes back and starts hitting like he was supposed to next year, like, they're not that far removed from the playoffs. I don't feel like they're a team that should be trading from their future. But if they're able to trade him to, say, Baltimore for Jackson Holiday and Kobe Mayo or something, they'd be in just as good shape next year. If they're able to get, 2 top 25 prospects, I think maybe they consider it. But it's going to have to be close to a Juan Soto-sized package, and I don't know if teams are going to be willing to offer that much for Skubal.
Skubal, Crochet, Cease. Didn't they used to have Cease, right? All these pitchers that they've had, why have they been so darn bad? Just no hitting?
What, the White Sox or
Yes,
the Tigers?
White Sox.
Oh,
Skubal's
no
Tigers, right, yeah.
Yeah, Skubal's the Tigers, but yeah, the White Sox, they had Cease.
They let him go.
Crochet now. Fetty, nobody saw that coming. Dude had like a 5.4 ERA in 6 years of the Nationals, went to Korea and all of a sudden learned how to pitch or something.
Okay.
But so he's been really good this season. He's very likely going to be traded as well because anything that isn't stapled to the floor in Chicago is available right about now. But yeah, and they have good pitchers. They got Drew Thorpe from San Diego, who originally went to the Padres in the Juan Soto trade. Then they got him in the Dylan Cease trade. He's reeled off like 6 consecutive quality starts. So they've found all this starting pitching. They just can't hit worth a darn.
They have no offense, yeah.
You mentioned Evaldi. Do you see Texas deciding to sell?
Yeah, it's going to be. I think they're the biggest domino right now, both in terms of as much as they can offer and, do they actually see themselves getting there? The Giants are one of those teams too, but I don't think they have much to put on the trade block if they do sell. But yeah, the Rangers, I mean, right now they're 3 games back, but when I looked at the All-Star break, they were, I want to say 7 games back, maybe 6.5. And that would be, aside from the Cardinals, I think it was in 2021 or 2022, came back from a 7.5 game deficit. Like, nobody has come back from a 6 game deficit at the All-Star break in the past decade. Like, they met the standards for selling, but they also have Jacob deGrom and Tyler Mahle coming back, Josh Jung, Evan Carter coming back. Like, they've got all these guys. So I don't know. They could decide to move, a Michael Lorenzen and Andrew Haney, maybe even a Nathan Eovaldi, just because they've got all these pitchers getting healthy and they have to do something with them. I don't think they're going to be like a full-blown, fire sale type of team.
Well, their ownership has spent money. They spent a lot of money going into last season. They won the World Series. They spent some money in the offseason now. And like you said, they're only 3 games behind Houston. They're only 2 games under 500. San Francisco is a team that I think has struggled here recently, so I could see them being sellers. But I don't think one year removed from the World Series for their fan base, they don't want to become the Marlins, for goodness sakes. Texas, I don't know. I would be surprised if they sold. I think Texas will probably try to add and make a run at it, but I could be wrong. All right, final thing for you. Kerry Miller joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. National League East. You got the Phillies. You got the Braves, who are now just a game and a half above the Mets. All 3 in the playoffs at this moment. What does each one of those teams need to do? Of course, the Braves need to stay healthy. They have been besieged by injuries. But what additions could we see to any of those 3 teams or all of those 3 teams before the 30th of July?
Yeah, I think aside from the Astros, the Mets have been the hottest team for like 2 months now. It doesn't feel like they need to do much, maybe just some bullpen work. If they can... Their lineup, really the only guy that's been struggling is Jeff McNeil, and even he's coming around over the last few weeks. So I feel like they're in good shape. I'm sure they'll do something because it's Steve Cohen. They'll spend money, but probably on a reliever, maybe another 8th inning type guy. Phillies, I'm sure you know, they would love a center fielder. I've seen the talk of possibly getting Lane Thomas and Kyle Finnegan from the Nationals, and sure, why not? You already have Trey Turner and Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. Just take them all. That's fine. But if they get, I feel like Thomas isn't a huge upgrade. If they're able to get Randy Arozarena from the Rays or Lewis Robert from the White Sox, I feel like that's the World Series piece for them. They then become the favorites if they fill that hole. And the Braves, man, they're still in playoff position, but it doesn't feel like it. Like they've just been falling apart at the seams. At some point, Chris Sale is going to be injured because he always is. He's been like their one healthy guy against all odds. But Marcell Ozuna might win the Triple Crown. He's been like their entire offense. He's 35-1 to win NL MVP. Just throwing that out there.
Jeez.
I don't know how you win the Triple Crown and don't win MVP, but I know Shohei Ohtani exists, so they'll probably keep it from happening. But that's basically the only thing going for the Braves. Pretty much everything else, it feels like they need to add. We already knew they needed outfield help. Now, Albies is out for 2 months. Arcia has not been playing well, so they need middle infield help. So aside from Ozuna, Olsen's heating up. Riley's been hot. Outside of that, their offense is just not good, and they already needed a starting pitcher when Strider went down. So, they're already at like the luxury tax threshold, and it feels like they need to add a ton to stay relevant. So I really don't know what the Braves are going to do.
Well, Kerry's going to be busy. The trade deadline is the 30th. He'll be back with us next Thursday to talk about everything that's going down in Major League Baseball. Read all his great stories at Bleacher Report. Follow him on Twitter at Kerrance James. And again, catch him every Thursday during the Major League Baseball season talking with us right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Kerry, as always, thank you. Great stuff. Really appreciate it.
You got it. Take care, guys.
Talk to you next week.
Breakfast time. And when it's breakfast time in Memphis, one place you need to go, that's Sunrise. It's probably two places, but it's the same place. You got Sunrise, the original. That's on Jefferson Avenue. And then you've got Sunrise East on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis. 2 locations to go get some of that great breakfast food. Of course, they got great lunch as well. But breakfast, certainly, with the biscuit sandwiches with their homemade big old square biscuits, or maybe one of their breakfast bowls or the kitchen sink. On the lunch menu, you got some great sandwiches and salads, the French dip, the bacon cheeseburger, all kinds of great options for breakfast or lunch at Sunrise. You can go to sunrise901.com. The website, you can check out the menu there. You can order online for pickup to make it very simple, very easy for you to pop on in there, grab your food, and be on your way. Again, 670 Jefferson Avenue, that's the original, and Sunrise East on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis. For breakfast or lunch, Sunrise is the place.
You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Your house, your office building? Impossible! Not. Call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place, the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Progressive presents 10 things on a food truck owner's to-do list that are harder than getting a commercial auto insurance quote. Stocking the fridge, prepping the stations, finding employees that get along well, finding employees that actually do their job. Looking at you, Gary. Balancing the books, balancing the flavors, having a fresh menu and fresh produce and fresh meat, but never a fresh mouth. But the easiest thing on a small business owner's to-do list? Seeing if you can save on commercial auto insurance. Get a quote in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Corky's Barbecue.
Hi, this is Jay Stovall with Corky's Barbecue. We have been serving up our legendary barbecue for more than 39 years, right here in Memphis, Tennessee. Whether you're dining in, picking up in our drive-thru, or serving our famous barbecue at your office or home. With Corky's Party Pack, you are the hit of the party. Barbecue pulled pork, baked beans, coleslaw, barbecue sauce, and buns, starting at only $8.49 per person. And as you know, we send plenty of food. You never have to worry about running out of the store.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Genuine diamonds, baby.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:53 the time. Final segment here in hour number 2. We got a lot to get to in hour 3, including Frank Bonner's visit at 9:05. We'll talk NFL, and again, Aaron Rodgers says 8 to 12 teams can win the Super Bowl. He didn't say which 8 to 12 teams. I'm going to assume he includes the Jets, but will we include the Jets when we go over that and talk about it and get your thoughts as well, coming up in hour number 3. In the meantime, the Olympics opening ceremonies tomorrow, but the game started yesterday, and Team USA, we had Lawrence Dockery on talking soccer with us yesterday and about the chances for the United States men's and women's teams. Of course, these are under 23, U23 teams, and the United States lose their opener to host France 3-0.
Yeah, not a good start.
No, it was not.
The Olympics are off to quite a start overall. They are it's a rip-roaring good time over in France.
Well, the Morocco-Argentina soccer match, men's soccer match, was an absolute disaster. What happened there?
Yeah, I still don't even. I don't quite comprehend it. What exactly happened? How you decide like 90 minutes later that no, that goal,
right.
That wasn't good.
Right.
Come on back. We got to play 3 more minutes. I don't know.
For those who don't know, Argentina had tied it, and then it took 90 minutes. They took the break or whatever. They took 90.
Well, people started throwing stuff on the field. And some people came on some fans stormed the field, so they just shut the match down and called it, said it was over, and then later on decided, no, by the way, that goal, yeah, that didn't count, and guys got to come back and play 3 more minutes
right.
in an empty stadium, which is just, I don't understand how that all unfolded. That's
controversy and the Olympics?
You got
is that what you're saying there?
You get the drone scandal in women's soccer,
right.
And Canada and New Zealand play today.
Those coaches were sent home, weren't they? The Canadian coaches?
2 of the coaches were sent home, and then the head coach is not coaching today's game against New Zealand.
Wow.
And that's who Canada was spying on New Zealand. They played this morning at 10 o'clock.
One of the guys' name's Connor Stallions, right? One of the assistant coaches?
And then they also, I was reading, there was a dancers union that's involved in the opening ceremonies that was going to strike. But they did get a deal. They've got a deal done with them.
Yes.
I mean, it is like,
what were they going to strike for?
We haven't even gotten to the opening ceremonies yet, and they just can't, everything is completely screwed up. So good luck to them over there. The opening ceremonies on the Seine River or whatever, they might have people drowning at this point. I don't know. The way it's going, who knows what might happen in the opening ceremonies.
Yeah, and they've also, I think they've thwarted some attempts to disrupt the Olympics and maybe even cause bodily harm to some people. You got the whole Israeli and Palestinian thing going on as well, as their athletes are there. Let's just hope that calmer heads prevail. The fans behave themselves. They are these French fans. They can get crazy. And yesterday, again, it may not have been French fans, maybe just Moroccan and Argentinian fans, whatever the case may be, Argentine, but
it was Rocket fans. I mean, they were upset about the goal.
Okay, but again, whatever fan base it may be, especially in the game of soccer, for whatever reason, I think these fans feel they're entitled to just disrupt stuff. Like that's their entitlement as those who purchase tickets, and some who don't even purchase tickets. Like in the case of that Copa game, the Copa America game down in Miami. It is absolutely.
They're a weird bunch, those soccer fans. They're a dangerous bunch.
No question about it. Folks, let's drive to the beach, to the lake, to the mountains, anywhere this summer and fall, and what we really want to drive in, a beautiful automobile, and especially a beautiful automobile from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Why there? Because they have hundreds of new and pre-owned Silverados marked down, 12% off invoice, but it just starts there. It doesn't stop there. They have the All-Star Special discount. They also have a Costco membership deal. So if you're a Costco member, you're going to get a break as well on the cost of that automobile. So ask them about that. It is one sweet buyer's market, financing as low as 1.9%. No payments for 90 days on all those great vehicles like the Tahoes, the Silverados. Plus, you get an extra $500 bonus if you're in healthcare, an educator, a college grad, military, or first responder. So many different ways to save money on a brand new or even a pre-owned automobile from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. And no matter what pre-owned you're looking for, I can guarantee it's there. Jeeps, 4Runners, Expeditions, Navigators, all the trucks. You can test drive them at All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Bring any vehicle you want to sell. You get a big check today. So don't miss All-Star Chevy's special summer sale. It's going on right now in Olive Branch. Or check them out online at allstarautogroup.com. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Buster's Butcher at 199 South Highland Street in Memphis. We're a full-service butcher shop offering a curated selection of quality meats, cheeses, prepared foods, and more. At Buster's, our skilled butchers are also experienced chefs. They'll be delighted to guide you on selecting, preparing, and cooking our fine selection of products. We're like nothing else you can find in Memphis. Learn more at bustersbutcher.com and come see why every cut counts at Buster's Butcher.
Hey, Rock and Ronnie Smith, it's the biggest, the summer event in Gossett. Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram out on the pike. Yo, Rock and Ronnie, what you got going on?
I've got 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude, four-wheel drive, $26,095 or $388 a month.
That's a rockin' Jeep deal. What else you got, Ronnie?
Power up in a 2023 Dodge Charger SXT, $26,795 or $398 a month.
And Ronnie, I know you're into big business summer event. You gotta have an incredible Ram deal.
2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab four-wheel drive, $697 a month.
Rock and Ronnie is rocking some deals today. So drive past the rest and come to the nest at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram out on the pike or shop online at GossettMotorCars.net. Renegade Triple P 57256 MSRP 31095 Charger PH 636 170 MSRP 37215 Ram RN 203232 MSRP 588. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all 3303 or visit us online at BrianEllerRoofing.com.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic still a little bit busy over here, but it's moving down I-40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Sycamore View Road. There's still a little bit of volume filtering down certain sections of 51 there out of Millington. There's still some volume at times on Austin P Highway southbound, getting up on that ramp there to I-40. Havenly Showers is your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub. Curbless shower conversion, especially for the older folks. Log on to havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This hour brought to you by James Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time. Final hour for us today here on this Thursday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd with you from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Our friend Frank Bonner joins us in just a few moments. Currently 75 degrees. It's very humid, 95%. We're talking 84 for a high today, but combined with that 95% humidity, there is a heat advisory in effect for today, even though it is cloudy and overcast and there is rain in the forecast. It's not an all-day affair, about a 47% chance. And tonight, 72 degrees with, again, occasional light rain late, 67%. Tomorrow looks like more rain at about 77% and a high for your Friday at 82 degrees. Third hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by Jenkins Floors and More. If you are in need of flooring, carpeting, they have it for you at Jenkins Floors and More. Ceramic and porcelain tiles, hardwoods by Portercraft, the carpeting from Southern Luxury Carpet, SPC and WPC vinyls, which are scratch-resistant, waterproof, top-of-the-line, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, plantation shutters and blinds, so much more. They now have the new warehouse open at 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. They're also located in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. They sell it wholesale. They skip the middleman. That's going to save you lots of money. Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins started this business about 8 years ago in their garage in Cleveland, Mississippi, and it's become a very, very profitable, but really more importantly, a place that you can depend on. They are dependable people. Again, family-owned and operated. Their attention to detail is second to none. Their pricing is incredible. They have earned their reputation of being one of the top flooring companies in the area. So, if you're looking for flooring, if you're looking for carpeting, whether you're residential, whether you're commercial, you're a contractor out there or a homeowner, do yourself a favor, see what Jenkins Floors and More has to offer. Give them a call at 662-469-9350. Ask about the family discount for Sports 56 listeners, 10% off for military and first responders as well. Or you can stop by any of their 3 locations, including 2356 Goodman Road in Horn Lake. Visit them today, Jenkins Floors and More. Well, Memphis was the pick to win the American Conference Football Championship. We know they have a daunting conference schedule, especially that road schedule. Frank Bonner, he was in Dallas for American Conference Media Days, and we're very pleased to be joined by Frank, who covers the Memphis Tigers football team and much more for the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at Frank_Bonner2. Frank, I guess no surprise that Memphis was picked to win it. Your thoughts?
No. And if you look at the way that they were voted. I mean, 23 of the 30 first place votes. I mean, that tells you that it wasn't even close. It's not like they edged out UTSA or Tulane to be number one. I mean, they were 7 votes away from being unanimous.
Yeah, that surprised me a bit just because of the schedule. Again, I mean, if you believe that those other 3 teams are the top 3 teams besides Memphis, and Memphis has to play on the road at all 3 of them, I thought more people might look at that and say, yeah, I don't know, that's too tough because, some of these other teams, they don't even have, they obviously miss some of them, or obviously they're hosting them. So I thought maybe there would be more first place votes elsewhere.
Yeah, and I wonder, it's tricky, right, when you start looking at the schedule and trying to do it that way, because most voters, if you ask them, who do you think the best team in the league is, period, they would say Memphis.
Yeah.
And so if you think they're the best team in the league, then do you not put them at number one just because they have a tougher road to get to the title game? I don't know. It's if you truly believe they're the best team in the league, then presumably you think that they will be able to handle the schedule that they have.
Yeah, and some people might just, that's an interesting way. Are people voting it as who they think the best team in the league is, or are they voting who they think will win the league necessarily? Some people might just strictly be saying, I believe Memphis is the best team. I'm just voting on teams who I think is the best to worst, regardless of schedule.
Yeah, right. And I think history may suggest that that's how the AAC voting polls usually go, because in the release that they put out, they said, only 3 times the preseason favorite has actually won the league. And so that would lead me to believe that people do vote just based on who they think the best team is. And the best team, depending on how the schedule shakes out, isn't necessarily the one who actually wins the league.
No, I think your point was spot on. And the media, let's be honest, we've been, Eli and I, many times the SEC media days, you put in you vote. You don't even think about it too much. I mean, you come up with who you believe is going to win it, but you're not knocking through analytics and doing, studying things and maybe even necessarily looking at the schedules that thoroughly. But we had Phil Steele on, Phil Steele from Phil Steele's College Football Preview. He was on the other day with us, and he has Memphis well above every other conference member as far as his power rankings, and believes that they are, on paper, the best team. But because of that schedule, he's breaking it down analytically. And as Eli said, some of those other teams expected to be near the top and battling Memphis either avoid one or the other, or are playing 2 of them at home as opposed to all 3 on the road for Memphis. He looks at it that way, and then he comes to the conclusion, Frank, that Memphis is not going to win the conference, that he has them tied for second. He has UTSA to win the thing. So it's interesting because he's really breaking it down and comes up with that, and your point's well taken. Memphis is going to have to go on the road and win 3. Look, they're going to have to win the bulk of their games in conference, but they're going to have to win against those guys they're battling all on the road. That's a big ask.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, in order to actually win the league, and I'm not trying to suggest that Memphis won't be number one. I voted them one to win the conference. But even if they have a drop in one of those games, really, in order to win the league, you just have to be a top 2 team. Mm-hmm. So there's a little room for error as a top 2. I don't think it's going to be like last year, right, where you got a team like UTSA. They run the table in conference. In the last conference game of the year, they lose to Tulane and they miss the championship. I don't think there's going to be 2 undefeated teams in the conference that are playing for the conference title. I think if you are a 1 loss, and depending on how it shakes, potentially a 2 loss, you can still get into the championship game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and UTSA is the one with the favorable schedule because they don't play Tulane, they don't play USF, and they play Memphis at home. I mean, they do have. I mean, you can't ask for a better schedule than that. But when you look at the other, Tulane at least, Tulane has to play USF and Memphis at least. And USF obviously plays both Tulane and Memphis, but UTSA is the one that only plays one of the other three, and they get that team at home. So certainly it sets up well for them. How disappointing you think the season would be if they don't at least make the conference championship game?
They have to do that. I think it would be very disappointing because when you're voted the conference champion, the preseason conference champion at the rate that they were, right, 23 out of the 31st players votes, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And on one end it feels good to be at the top, and on the other end the expectation is high, and there's a burden that comes with that in terms of what you expected to do, and not making the championship game would be a huge disappointment. I do think that Memphis has to be in that game this year.
Frank Bonner from the Daily Memphian joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. There appears, though, there is no apprehension from Ryan Silverfield, any of the other coaches, the players. You've spoken to them. We've had them on as guests. They seem to be embracing this not only pick to win the conference, but really all during the last few months with the high expectations for the upcoming season, the possibility of being the Group of 5 representative in the playoffs. They are not backing down from this, Frank. It doesn't mean that they'll follow through and accomplish all these goals, but I love the confidence that they have. They are not shying away from this.
No, I mean, and what reason? I mean, why? What reason do they have to not be confident, right? I mean, looking at what they did last year, looking at the roster that they have back, the quarterback that they have back, the leader in Chandler Martin on defense. I mean, they have all the pieces to do what they're expected to do. And if you're in that locker room, like, if not this year, then when?
Exactly.
I mean, this is the time, and they know it. Talking to Chandler and Seth in media days, they aren't reading too much into the poll or anything like that, or patting themselves on the back already, but they do understand the responsibility of what's at stake this season, and they're all dialed in. I mean, they're focused, but they understand what's going on heading into this year.
Well, and quite frankly, a lot of, like, for some of these guys, like, they probably had opportunities to go elsewhere. Like, they all came back for this opportunity. Like, if you all come back for this, you want to take advantage of that.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think this is a perfect storm of returning players mixed with some new guys. I mean, and it's not just about what Memphis has. It's also about what some of the other conference teams don't, right? There's no SMU. Tulane and UTSA are still expected to be good, but Tulane not only has a new coach, but a new quarterback who will be starting. UTSA also lost Frank Harris. I mean, things have shaken out for Memphis to where they should be able to do what they're supposed to.
Yeah, it's not the fact that they are confident in what they can do. It's that, and yes, Eli's right. They all came back to try to accomplish this goal. But to embrace it the way they have, I've never seen anything like this, which should give Tigers fans a lot of confidence in that they can accomplish those goals because they feel so good about their situation. And like you said, Frank, why wouldn't you? You're coming off a great season. You have a 4-year starting quarterback that has started every single game. I don't think there's another guy like that in the country. If there is, let me know who it is. So that's pretty amazing. And a lot of talent around him. Obviously, the extra NIL money through the Smith family has helped. They've gone out and they've been able to get guys in the transfer portal. By the way, selfish plug, Chandler Martin on the show tomorrow at 9:05. If there is a weakness or at least an area of concern, Frank, on this team, what would it be?
Well, I mean, everybody's got their eyes on the secondary, I think. The defensive secondary, that was a point of weakness last year. And it's been kind of spotty since I've been on the beat, honestly. And so that defensive secondary is what I have my eyes on the most. And they've got guys, right? They brought in some transfers. You got a guy like Davion Ross back, and so they have players. But I want to see how that matriculates and what that turns into in terms of passing defense, because that's one of the things that the Memphis defense in the past has kind of struggled with.
On offense, obviously, again, Seth Hennigan back. The receiver, you got your top two receivers back. You've got all kinds of experience at the receiver position. You're bringing in Mario Anderson at running back to go with some guys who are already here. But are we overlooking the loss of Blake Watson, who was their best offensive player last year? Like, are we taking it for granted that they don't miss a beat when you lose a guy that did what he did?
Yeah, right. I mean, I think part of the reason why that isn't being talked about as heavily is because that should tell you how much people believe that Mario Anderson is going to be good, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's just Mario Anderson, because, I said
Sutton
this
Smith.
on the radio before. You said, huh?
Sutton Smith?
Yeah, it's not just Mario Anderson and Sutton Smith, because Blake Watson he was a receiving back and a running back, right? And so you have to balance both of those. And I don't think this year is gonna be with just one player, right? I think Mario Anderson is going to be the bulk of the run game, but Sutton Smith is going to help shoulder that load that Blake Watson had in the receiving game. And so if you get both of those guys to do that, and then you have Brandon Thomas, who's going to be your goal line back, essentially, I think that together can make up what is lost in Blake Watson.
I'm not sure if you had a chance to talk to many of the players from the other teams, from the other schools, or the coaches, but if you did you ask them about Memphis, and what did they say?
Well, I did talk to a couple of the two UTSA representatives, and their focus was similar to Memphis's focus in terms of what Seth and Chandler said about, like, we're not looking to be compared to other teams at this particular time. It's about us. None of it matters if we don't do what we take care of. It was the sentiment was a lot of that, of who we can't be compared to Memphis or Boise or Liberty or anybody else, because we got to do what we got to do. And UTSA was, they're confident too, right? Those players are confident too. Like I just said, they were one game away from being in the championship game in their first year in the conference. So they still feel like, even after losing their quarterback, they still feel like they're a team that's going to be right there to compete for a title, and hopefully, the college football playoff, if the AAC champion ends up shaking out that way. So, everybody came to Dallas with a level of focus that was really about them.
It seems as though just the idea of the possibility of playing in the playoff with the group of 5 team certainly has paid dividends in recruiting already. And Ryan Silverfield's even talked about that you could, presenting that as an option. Like, hey, if we win our conference, we got a great chance. If they actually make the playoff and they play in the playoff, and it becomes an actual reality that recruits get to see the University of Memphis playing in the college football playoff, how much more of a boost do you think that can be for recruiting?
Well, I think it'd be huge, because right now it's just an idea. Mm-hmm. In terms of, we can compete for the playoff, and in theory, that's true. But are you a program that's actually going to get there? And if you get there, you can tell recruits next year, we did it, and we're looking to do it again. And again, if you can come to our program and help continue to build what we have here. I mean, the first group of 5 teams that makes the playoff this year, I think, is going to have an additional leg up in the next year, in the next cycle of recruiting, because they were the first one to do it.
Mm-hmm. You always remember your
outside
first,
of
Frank.
Cincinnati or whatever. Yeah, I mean, technically Cincinnati was the first, but they'd be the first one to do it in this format.
Right. And even if it isn't, if it isn't Memphis, you still, if you're Memphis, you hope that at least you want the American Athletic Conference champion to be that team where you can still at least sell. Like, listen, our conference is the best of the group of five, and if we can win our conference, we always have a great chance of being that team because our conference has proven to be the best.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, right? Like in terms of obviously every team in the American wants to be the one to do that, but if it's not you, it definitely needs to be your conference because the American in the last decade or so has, if history shows that they have been the best group of five conference during that span, you don't want to lose that now and let Liberty or Boise State take the throne that you have had for so long. I mean, Liberty already got the New Year's Six Bowl last year. You don't want to have back-to-back years where the American isn't that team.
Well, I'm sure Tim Pernetti addressed all of that in his state of the conference, and obviously he's new. He's taken over. We've had Tim on the show. I was very impressed with what he brought to the table. You wrote about Pernetti and some of the things he had to say. Give us kind of a synopsis of what his conversation or what his talk was about, and then what you wrote about.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anybody listened to what he said at the podium, I mean, when he had to say the word invest like 100 times, I mean, he's very, very pushing to invest, and he wants the programs within the American to continue investing, right, in the athletic department and in football in particular, right, because that helps uplift the conference. And so, like, you look at what a program like Memphis is doing in the stadium and putting all this money into boosting their athletic department. I think he's very focused on the teams being aligned in that way of needing to put dollars in your departments to elevate the conference. And if they can do that, and if Pernetti can continue to do that, then the American, because obviously, like, you don't want to get left behind in terms of, I mean, the conferences aren't going to be the SEC or the Big Ten, but it seems like every conference is looking to boost itself financially and to separate itself. Well, the American has to do that among the group of fives in terms of unequivocally being the best conference that isn't the Big 12 or the ACC or whatever. And the best way to do that is to have those schools invest in their athletic departments and win a lot of games and so on.
It's funny because and he realizes it, but it's funny because you're encouraging these schools to invest and everything else, but you also know they're all investing to try and get out of your conference. It's really right. So it's just like, yes, we want you to invest, but we also would love for if you stayed in the conference. I know that's not your ultimate goal. It's always weird because he's up there talking, but in the back of his mind, he knows, like, listen, any one of these schools could leave like in the middle of this media day if they got the call to a different conference. Right. But that's just the way the world you live in as the commissioner of one of these conferences.
Yeah, right. And obviously he addressed that. He was asked about that, and his view on it is he doesn't think that it should be a secret, right? Yeah. If he believes that, like, if a school is looking to leave the conference, let that be known so that if you do leave, the conference that you're leaving from isn't scrambling and it's not like they didn't know that this was happening. He said the more open that people are about the conversation, the better everybody is able to plan. Because he said when conference realignments happen, there's a lot of shift that happens within other conferences based on you moving. Well, if the conference can prepare for that, then they can move accordingly. And I get that, but at the end of the day, there's only so many schools that are out there that can help booster your program, right? Like if the American loses a Memphis, well, who are they going to be able to bring in that's like a Memphis, right? Like it is every conference realignment shift. your conference kind of gets watered down, even if you don't want to say that. That's what happens because you're losing your best teams.
Exactly.
People aren't poaching your worst teams in the conference. They're poaching your best ones.
Exactly.
They're not coming after Rice. They don't care about Rice.
Yeah, there's different levels even within the conference. And if you lose some of those schools, you can't just elevate somebody else into that status. So yeah, there's no question about it. I do like what he's saying, to invest into the program, but also to invest, you need to have the financial resources. Luckily for Memphis that it's much better now, still not complete. I mean, they got a ways to go, but at least it's a better situation than it is for other schools, most of them in the league. Now, SMU was in a great financial situation, and that helped springboard them to the ACC. But also what's important is that the league puts themselves in the best light they can for their media rights package. And I know that Tim on our show has talked about it before, that he is not going to leave a stone unturned, that he is going to look at every possible outside-the-box option to make this a more valuable conference. And if that's the case, then every school benefits from that.
Yeah, and that goes back to investment. He doesn't just want the member schools to invest. He wants other businesses to invest and believe in the conference.
Right.
And so that goes, I mean, he talked about, I forgot, I don't want to butcher the quote, but basically, jersey patches, whatever, naming rights, like he's going to look into all of it. But another thing I thought was interesting that I want to ask what you guys thought about it was his comment about the conversation surrounding an additional playoff. What did you guys think of that?
I've said forever. I think that would be the dumbest thing that the Group of Five could do. I just don't think people will care about it. All you're saying is basically
we're an inferior product.
It's like right now nobody cares about the FCS championship. Like all you're doing is you're just like people care about the champion of the biggest thing. Like they don't care about the other stuff. I just don't think it would work because I just don't think people would care.
You're making it. You're basically saying publicly it's an inferior product. And you don't want to be at that point right now. We know where the money is. We know the SEC and the Big Ten has the money. But you don't want to go out there and say, yeah, we're an inferior product. We're going to have our own playoff. It doesn't, to me, it's like the NCAA and the NIT. The NIT, okay, it's nice to get an NIT win. Well, no, not necessarily, because you want to be in the NCAA. Well, you want to be in the big boys playoff, not the little boys playoff.
Because my thing is like, you're the champion of what? What does the trophy say you were the champion of? The
and
Group
I
of
asked
Five?
him, and what he was getting at, because I asked him, I said, well, because he made it clear that he didn't think this was in replacement of the college football playoff. Like he said that, like obviously we want to get in there, but there are going to be some conference champions that are left out. From my understanding, the additional playoff idea wasn't just about Group of Five. Like or maybe
nobody's getting left out from the power.
Yeah, maybe it was. It was about Group of Five, but it wasn't about like the Group of Five having its like own deal instead of the playoff. Like he said, there's only going to be one team in. There's going to be other group conference champions left out, and so why not have a playoff for those who are left out? But then, like he was saying, it was an addition to the college football playoff. But my rebuttal would be like, aren't the bowl games that's what the bowl games are?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, like what are you playing for? Like you win, say you win it. You are the champion of what? The leftovers?
But here's
we're the champions of the conference champions that didn't go to the playoff, and so we are. Yes, that's us.
Yes, because literally the four that are left out, which there'll be four. If they even played and they came to the conclusion, okay, this team won 2 more additional games and was crowned the champion, they still wouldn't be the best Group of 5 team. The best Group of 5 team is the one that actually got into the real playoffs. Yeah, so that doesn't make... I do like his thinking outside the box. Some things are ludicrous, but the patches, all the things to be able to bring in extra income streams, revenue streams. That's what they need to do. And so I like Pernetti. He brings, of course I like Mike. Mike was a good friend of the show, Mike Oresco. But now you got, kind of that new school, young thinking to try to figure out ways to promote a conference, which I'll circle back to what Eli said, everybody would like to get out of.
So, yeah, and just because, and he said, just because he said he's a guy who brings ideas, and he says so just because he throws something out there, it's just to have a conversation about it. Everything he says, he knows that everything he says isn't going to necessarily be the best idea, but at least it's an idea. And if you work through it, you'll be able to get to the bottom of the fact that it is going to work or not. But at least it's a conversation. I think he's just trying to bring a different form of thinking to the conference.
Absolutely, and I love that. I love it. Frank Bonner, University of Memphis Tigers football beat writer for the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at Frank_Bonner2. Frank, thank you as always. We appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all.
Take care.
No such thing as a bad idea in brainstorming.
No.
There is, actually, but
people
say that.
You could giggle at it, but again, I mean, it's just thinking outside the box. We'll take a break. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
DQ presents Picture This. Picture your favorite Blizzard treat, but this one is being held by someone very special. Ari, our Children's Miracle Network Hospitals champion. Miracle Treat Day is Thursday, July 25th. $1 or more of each Blizzard treat sold at participating locations benefits your local children's hospital and kids like Ari. So treat yourself in the most meaningful way.
Support local kids like me on Miracle Treat Day, Thursday, July 25th.
Thank you. Happy tastes good.
It's the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event, and you won't find a better bang for your buck. So get to Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike and get 43 MPG Highway and 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,980 or $299 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $26,530 or $379 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, we Gossett, $26,530 or $379 a month. And get vacation ready in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $29,900 or $399 a month. Plus peace of mind with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
500 military rebate, 500 loyalty, and 500 trade-in assist. Mirage, RHO 10843, MSRP 18480. Sport, RU1 11873, MSRP 28030. Outlander, RCO 63695, MSRP 314. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Looking for a way to elevate your engine's performance? Start with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. It provides faster oil flow for hot and cold temperature protection in the harshest driving conditions. Regular use can help your engine run cleaner and longer by defending against sludge and buildup, improving overall engine performance and fuel efficiency while increasing the time between oil changes. Make the switch without slowing down. Feed your ride Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
Getting engaged is one of life's most spectacular occasions. And when you find your ring at Sissy's Log Cabin, the promise of a lifetime begins with our promise to always provide unmatched quality, superior service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Find your dream engagement ring, wedding bands, and more when you shop Sissy'sLogCabin.com or stop by one of our 6 locations. Begin the rest of your line in brilliant, only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by Jenkins Floors and More. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Some Memphis basketball news, both for men and women. The University of Memphis women's basketball team will play Dawn Staley in South Carolina in an exhibition game, and that's going to be on October 15th at FedEx Forum. They've previously announced games at FedEx Forum versus Tennessee, the alma mater of Coach Alex Simmons, and also Louisville. So Louisville, Tennessee regular season games at FedEx Forum, and then an exhibition game against South Carolina on October 15th. I know the men are also working on the possibility of playing a bigger name in an exhibition game as opposed to the two smaller teams that they would play normally in exhibition games. Plus, the Memphis men, they will play Clemson. This was announced by Clemson with their home schedule. Their non-conference schedule was released today. And the Memphis men will play the Tigers of Clemson December 14th in Clemson, South Carolina, the return game from last year.
Yeah, the South Carolina game was supposed to be a regular season game.
Right.
They have switched it now to an exhibition, which once they announced the Louisville game, it was a little weird because I was like, man, they're playing Tennessee and Louisville December 18th and December 21st. Where are you fitting in that South Carolina game if it was supposed to be a regular season game? But they have switched that, so that'll be an exhibition game now. But it will still, from what I understand from Jason Munn's story about this, that will still fulfill the obligation of the return game for the home and home, even though it will only be an exhibition.
And so I would assume it's the same with the women as it is with the men. If you play the one big school that replaces the two. So you can't play another exhibition game, or can you?
Yeah, you can still play two. I think you can still play two exhibition games yet.
Okay. But again, the men, I think they're working on that as well to try to play a bigger name, if possible, at FedEx Forum. There will be quite a busy October, to say the least, at FedEx Forum, because you also have the start of the NBA season with the Grizzlies. And we haven't had the Grizzlies release their schedule yet. The NBA has not released the schedules, but the fact of the matter is you'll have the preseason games, 6 games, 3 probably at home at FedEx Forum, and then by the end of October, right at the beginning of November, somewhere in that time frame, the Memphis Grizzlies will begin their season. So I saw this, and in our last segment, by the way, we're going to talk about the Aaron Rodgers quote, but I saw this about an hour ago. I thought it was interesting. There was Bill O'Brien, who's the new coach at Boston College. Former Houston Texans head coach and general manager. He's been an offensive coordinator both with the Patriots under Bill Belichick and the University of Alabama under Nick Saban. And the host asked the question to Bill O'Brien. He said, all things equal, you don't have to worry about salary cap. You don't have to worry about restrictions to roster size, any of that stuff. You're playing on a neutral field. But you're playing, and then Bill O'Brien comes in and goes, well, is it NFL or college? The guy goes, no, it's like you're basically putting together a street game of football. You find a football field, you put your 11 against the other 11. Who you taking? Bill Belichick's team or Nick Saban's team? And the guy answered, Bill O'Brien answered to the guy, rather, I'm taking Nick Saban's team. Wouldn't that be something? Nick Saban and his coach team versus Bill Belichick and his coach team. But the guy, Bill O'Brien, again, told the guy he would take Nick Saban, all things equal, over Belichick. Wonder if that would be a prevailing thought from most coaches out there if they were asked that question.
I have no idea.
Because when we talk about history with coaches, we say Belichick, greatest NFL coach, right? There's others that would certainly be up there, including Vince Lombardi. And then college, you say Saban. And, of course, there would be the Bear Bryant, and others that would be right up there as well. But those are the two that we consider. But going head-to-head against each other, I probably would have leaned toward Belichick. But, again, this is Bill O'Brien, who worked for both of them, saying that he would go with Nick Saban.
Well, they coached against each other in the NFL. What was Belichick's record against him? Probably pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. When he was with Miami, Saban, but this is a whole different ball game. NFL. That's why Bill O'Brien asked that question. I'm sure if he said an NFL game, Bill O'Brien goes, well, I'm going Belichick. College, I'm sure he would have went Saban. But this was, the host was pretty smart in coming up with just this unique situation that they would be coaching just a team they put together, equal, payroll equal, playing field, everything's equal as far as that's concerned. Put them together on a high school football field and let them play. Going with Saban.
Going back to the Giants and the Hard Knocks, they had the Brian Dable talking to Nick Saban about the skill position players, and Nick Saban saying that Malik Neighbors and Brock Bowers were the two guys who were problems.
Oh, yeah. No surprise there. No surprise. I was a little surprised, though, that the receivers coach had Neighbors over Harrison. Because Harrison seemed to be the consensus from everybody that he was the best receiver. Number one, numero uno, and he said nope, he preferred Malik Neighbors.
I think part of that was he knew he wasn't getting Harrison.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they all knew there's no way they were getting Marvin Harrison. So you just say you say the guy. So it looks like you got your first choice.
Yeah, I guess so. You know the cameras are there, so you can certainly play it up for the cameras.
But that's just my opinion. My guess is that he never considered getting Marvin Harrison Jr., so that was never really part of his thought process of comparing Marvin Harrison Jr. to him.
Yeah.
Moving can be stressful, folks, but when you get the professionals to help you, well, makes it a lot easier on you. Black Tie Moving can do just that for you. Give them a call at Black Tie, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Talk to the folks from Black Tie, and they will work with you coming up with that plan for your move that fits both your needs and your budget. They give you no obligation quote up front as well, so you know exactly what it's going to cost. And then during the move, you've got a moving concierge that's available to you to answer any questions that might come up. It makes it as easy on you as it possibly can be wherever you're headed, whether it's across town or if it's across country. They're going to make it easy and take that stress and worry out of the moving process for you. So talk to the folks from Black Tie Moving, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis.
Pro Football Talk reporting that Jordan Love and the Packers are very close on a deal. Said not done yet, but moving in that direction. Said both sides have every reason to expedite an agreement, get him on the practice field. So maybe something will happen later today. When we come back, who are the 8 to 12 teams in your minds that can win the Super Bowl in 2024? If you can, send us a list. Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. Text in your list. We'll talk about it when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsofMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Quicky's Barbecue in Cordova.
If the woman of your dreams has been searching online for the perfect engagement ring, she's figured out there's a few brand names that are worthy of consideration. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and she doesn't want a plain, ordinary cookie-cutter ring to wear the rest of her life. She wants a world-class designer ring, handcrafted by a true artisan that will hold value and stand the test of time. She's found Tacori, Verragio, Ajafi, Simon G., among other premium American-made designers. But when you try and find these exclusive rings, you quickly realize most stores don't offer them. They have knockoffs and lookalikes, kind of like those imitation bags and watches on the streets of New York City. But there is one jeweler where you can find the real deal: Genesis Diamonds. Genesis has been chosen by all the most sought-after designers. Genesis is your exclusive home for these iconic brand names that define excellence. Other stores can only dream of being able to offer these, but only Genesis has them. So be careful. Don't settle for anything less than the ring she is worthy of wearing. Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Cork and Barrel in Hernando, Mississippi, a Southern gem for over 15 years. Check out their bigger, better, bolder new location, 2595 McInvale Road, Hernando. Huge selection, incredible pricing. Choose from hundreds of bourbons, tequilas, rum, scotch, and vodka. Over 1,000 wines from fine to very simple picnic wines. At Cork and Barrel, it's all about serving you. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 10, where the fun begins and the liquor and wine never end. Cork and Barrel, 2595 McInvale Road, I-55, Hernando, exit 280.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:48 the time. Tomorrow, Chandler Martin joins us from the Tigers, 9:05. Nick Suss at 8:25 from Titans camp, as the Titans got underway yesterday, first day of camp in Nashville. Of course, John Varlas joins us, as he does every Friday, at 7:25. So Aaron Rodgers, I guess, was being interviewed, or a presser, talked about the upcoming season. He said there are 8 to 12 teams in the NFL who can win the Super Bowl. He didn't say which. I assume that he thinks the Jets are one of them. I would assume that. But again, 8 to 12. Now, let's say there was 8 teams that legitimately, and again, that's an opinion, and this is our opinions. But if there was 8, that's a quarter of the teams. That's it. A quarter of the teams in the NFL that have a chance to win it all this upcoming season. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Let's go by division. We'll start in the AFC. In the AFC East, in your opinion, who has a legitimate chance to win the Super Bowl?
Everyone but the Patriots.
So you include the Jets. I have the Bills. I have the Dolphins. I don't have the Jets in there. I don't know. There's too much uncertainty with Rodgers. I know that if he plays the way he's capable of doing with that defense, they would have a chance. So I'm certainly not going to poo-poo your thoughts on having the Jets in there. In the AFC North.
Baltimore and Cincinnati.
Okay, me too. What about Pittsburgh? Is there too much uncertainty with the quarterback?
Quarterbacks, I don't think Russell Wilson's good enough. And I just don't think the Steelers are good enough.
I was listening to a national show, and they said, yeah, the Steelers, they could make it to the Super Bowl. And then the other guy goes, well, who's their quarterback? And he said, I don't know. He said, you're picking a team that could possibly win the Super Bowl with uncertainty at the quarterback position, not knowing who even the starting quarterback is. So, yeah, I'm not picking Pittsburgh. I'm with you. I got Baltimore. I got Cincinnati. By the way, Lamar Jackson returned yesterday. He had missed the first few practices, lasted an hour. Still sick. Sent home. All right, in the AFC South,
Houston.
I have nobody. You got Houston. I'll write that down. Of course, Stroud had the breakthrough year last year. I probably should throw him into consideration, but
I don't know how you would possibly not have them.
I know, because somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to get into the playoffs. I mean, I still think the Colts with Anthony Richardson can win that South. But I don't think the Colts can win the Super Bowl. So if I think the Colts can beat the Texans, I'm not going to pick the Texans.
You got a wrong feeling there.
Why?
Houston's just way better than
Colts were a game behind the Texans last year, and
Houston got better.
And lost Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson started out like gangbusters. Give him a chance. Give him a chance. All right, in the AFC West.
Kansas City.
That's it. The Chiefs. We move on to the NFC. NFC East.
Cowboys and Eagles.
See, again, you're a homer here with the Cowboys. I don't get it.
The Cowboys have the talent to win a Super Bowl.
But they
went 12-5 last year.
When's the last time they've been in the Super Bowl? They just don't.
Well, but that doesn't. What they did in the past has nothing to do with a chance to win the Super Bowl this year. They clearly have a good enough team to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They got right now uncertainty with CeeDee Lamb, who's a holdout. Dak Prescott, who's in his last year of his contract. I don't know if they even though Schefter is reporting that he's not only going to sign, he's going to sign north of $60 million, which I don't see how that's going to happen. But yeah, I'll give you the Cowboys have a chance. I just think right now there's a little bit of, not turmoil, and this happens to a lot of teams at this time. But they got to figure it out. They got to pay CeeDee Lamb, and then they got to figure out what they want to do long term for Dak. They don't have to do it right this second, but I think it could be a black cloud over Dak Prescott's head as the season progresses. The NFC North, Lions
and Packers.
Lions and Packers. I got the Lions and Packers as well. I'm going to write down Cowboys here on my list too. NFC South.
Nobody.
I got nobody. And then the NFC West.
San Francisco.
So I have the Rams as well. Rams were 10-7. Stafford healthy. They lose Donald, though. That's a big loss on the defense. Arguably the best player in the NFL on the defensive side.
How would you put the Rams on your list and not put the Cowboys or Texans?
I think the Rams have a chance. I think I put the Cowboys on my list. You talked me into it. I've got the Cowboys on the list. I just don't like the whole situation with Dak Prescott. Not Dak Prescott necessarily the player, but will it affect his play? The Texans, I don't think they're good enough to win it all. Again, this is not make the playoffs, not win the division. This is to win it all. I still don't think. I loved what I saw from C.J. Stroud. I hope that he will continue to showcase what he did this past year. There's no guarantees. It's one season. The Colts and Anthony Richardson got off to a great start. They still won 9 games, went 9-8 with him out most of the year. Jonathan Taylor is back. I think the Colts can win that division. And in fact, when we do our predictions, I'll probably pick the Colts to win that division. So let me add them up. How many you have total? Did you add it up? Yours? Bills, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 11. You had the Bills, the Dolphins, the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Lions. You didn't have the Packers, right?
I did.
You did have the Packers. That's
3,
9.
4, 5, 6, 7,
10,
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, so you got what Rodgers thinks is the max. You have 12, and I have 10. 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. I have 11. So there you go. So it's right in the number that Rodgers said. And it's probably the case every year, right? Varying teams from year to year. But about 8 to 12 teams that are capable of winning it all. And that's it. Right? About a third or less of the teams each and every year have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Maybe a couple more one year, a couple less another year. But that's pretty much it.
Folks, Genesis Diamonds, the place to go. If you're looking for that special piece of jewelry, go see them at Genesis Diamonds at Poplar and Perkins Extended. Whatever it is you're looking for, you know you're going to get great selection. You'll get great value. They can do direct importer pricing, taking out the middleman, so you're getting a great deal on those diamonds and other jewelry over at Genesis Diamonds. Plus, you get great service as well. They do it all. If you haven't been there, just go check it out. Give it a try. Whether you're looking for an engagement ring or you're just looking for something simple like a little necklace or a cheaper, I shouldn't say cheap, but a less expensive, something for they've got something every budget over there. They can find something that's going to match your budget, match what you're looking for, and make that person you're buying it for very, very happy. They've got the largest selection of pre-owned Rolex watches in the state, so you can take advantage of that as well. The service over there, the people over there, they're going to help you pick out that perfect piece of jewelry. Again, the selection better than anywhere you're going to find in Memphis. They've got line after line after line of jewelry that nobody else in the city has. Go check it out. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Imagine Nick Suss will join us tomorrow to talk Titans. He reports the Titans have released former Mississippi State and Washington running back Dylan Johnson. Isn't Jabari Small on their roster from the University of Tennessee and the Briarcrest Christian product?
I'm not sure.
I think he's on the Titans roster. Of course, Tony Pollard, the former Melrose star, the former Memphis Tigers star. We'll talk to Nick about that on the program tomorrow. Want to thank Kerry Miller and Frank Bonner for joining us today. Again, tomorrow, John Varlas, Nick Suss, and Chandler Martin from the Memphis Tigers football squad will have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great day, everybody.